Welcome one, welcome all to the Preseason Icebreaker here in North America. We are so happy to have you here. I'm ready, set. At my side, we have the wonderful Spoo, and we're going to be taking you through all of the action today. And Spoo, it's going to get a little bit wacky. If you tuned in yesterday, then you already know that we're running a completely new format compared to anything ever seen before in competitive Brawl Stars.
For those of you who didn't tune in yesterday, that is, the best way I can put it across. It's a completely wild experimental format. The only thing familiar on this screen is the 4-team single elimination. It's a best of 5 sets, nothing fancy there. But take a look at this map pick system. 2 per team, no repeat modes, and the modes that we selected today are pretty wild. The tiebreaker map is predetermined. The way that this is going to work is that the lower seeded team is going to have a slight advantage here. They will pick the first sort of map first, and then it'll alternate between both teams until both teams have decided on 2 maps. Then the last map is just a tiebreaker map.
And then we have the global bans also. This is something that I think has been long awaited in competitive Brawl Stars. After those maps have been picked, you'll get to choose a couple of brawlers that will be banned throughout the entire match. And in an era of Brawl Stars where there are, a few brawlers running the meta at any given time, usually taking up your bans for the set, now you can ban them for the entire match. But that's just a suggestion for how you use them. Let's see how our first teams decide to use them in just a second, because Spoo, first we have to actually figure out who is facing each other today.
Oh man, North America is always such a treat. We're gonna kick things off with the sort of El Clasico, right, between these two North American organizations. We've got Tribe Gaming and STMN to kick things off, and then we've got some newcomers in the region. Vatic picked up a team. KDS is now North America. What is going on, Reddy?
Yeah, this is pretty nutty here. Tribe Gaming, they have Diego joining them, which is going to be such an awesome story. Stamina, they're pretty familiar from last year. Vatic, you may know them as Team Electros from last year, but as Livy, unfortunately, due to the same winter storm actually that's keeping me frozen inside today, won't be able to play. So they have Ducky joining their roster to fill that spot today. So yes, welcome back, Team Oinkers. KDS, you'll remember them as pretty familiar. Also, you probably saw their roster announcement that is last year's SSG, but with Patchy joining them instead of Chino. I'm pretty excited for both of these matches, but Spoo, it's time to start talking about match number 1, semifinal number 1. It's Tribe Gaming versus STMN, and here are the maps that they picked and the bans that they went with as well.
Wow, a complete reversal from what we saw yesterday. It looks like there's a clear preference here in terms of, the map picks that are going out. Brawl Hockey as well as Basketball, still the 2 most popular modes that these pro players have selected. And then we've got Present Plunder in that 3rd slot, which I do like to see a bit more. I tweeted out that I really like the mode, seeing it more in competitive. We've got Ancient Treasure, the treasure hunt mode in the 4th position, and then Parallel Plays ended up being that tiebreaker map. Now, Reddy, tell us about the global bans. I mean, I'm seeing something different. For the first time, we got a bit of a mirror ban going on. What's up with that?
This is true. Well, and also in the comms, just to expose a little bit, once I believe it was revealed that both teams had banned Frank, they're like, can we change the ban? No, that's not how blind bans work. And it leads to situations like this. The mind games are still here, everyone. So Frank Ems really did run the show today. I'm looking especially at Frank just because he's so tanky is all. He proved to be a pretty serious menace when it came to basketball specifically. Mina, Ems were also MVPs yesterday. We didn't see a whole lot of play from them because they were banned so frequently, but when they were picked, they just ran the show.
Absolutely. These are buffy brawlers, and Mina is still sort of the queen of the patch, just largely unaffected from the, finals meta that we saw in her prime. And that's it, though. I mean, with Frank and the buffies, as we mentioned already yesterday in both shows, I think Frank had such an obscenely high win rate that, I'm guessing some of these players might have caught up into the show and then realized to themselves that, okay, we've already got wacky modes to deal with. Let's not deal with the fact that, Frank just might be the winner of the patch after this most latest balance change.
Oh man, and some of the other brawlers that we saw make a huge appearance yesterday, Poco was at the forefront of things. You saw Lumi also. These are brawlers that got a little adjustment lately with those balance changes, minor buffs to both of them, but Poco actually proved to be an MVP as well. Just the healing that he offered when we talk about mode like basketball where everyone's so bunched together, he proved to be quite useful on that cramped map. But it's time to shift the discussion, Spoo, and talk about our very first map. It's Brawl Hockey to kick things off in North America.
Yeah, Brawl Hockey Slippery Slap. I think we saw this map exactly once. I seem to recall a certain SK Gaming playing on this map, and I seem to also recall that EMS was a big factor in that map that kind of just made it unplayable for, I think, Totem at the time. But this time it's globally banned, so no need to worry about the EMS apocalypse. But that's it though, with the bans rolling in, I see double Spike bans coming out from the other side. Really interesting. Huge respect to Spike here. I think we saw the same amount of play in East Asia. Looks like North America has a similar ideology.
Yes, it's true. Okay, B now makes an appearance from STMN. It'll be their first selection. And, excuse me, are they named Brawler? That's a little confusing. Some of the names are messing me up today. Tacos has become a Taco Eater as well. But let's, of course, talk about the bans, or rather the picks themselves. B was really, really useful pretty much everywhere. On a mode where it's important to have control all over the map, but also to stand right in front of that goal to play goalie, then B has proven to be really, really useful. We saw it in EMEA, we saw it in East Asia, and she should also help slow down some of the gameplay a little bit, because we've seen hockey be ridiculously fast-paced.
Yeah, something else that I think is notable is, I mean, it's rare that we saw the overtime situation happen in hockey, but when it did happen, then, you know, B is just the queen of overtime, right? You got a super hypercharged super online at that point. You can pretty much secure that you will at least get one pick off and then snowball into a goal. And in Brawl Hockey, whereby overtime is like 10 times more punishing than Brawl Ball because, well, you can kind of score from the other side of the map. You literally can't afford to lose a single brawler, and we heard a lot of feedback about that yesterday from the teams already. But Tribe Gaming, though, they're leaning back into not the buff beat brawlers, so we're not seeing an instant Shelly get locked in or like Colt get locked in, but instead it's going to be leaning back to some of that world's finesse. This Jaeyoung and the things coming up here, very different approach from all the regions.
This is true. Now STMN moving back to them, a couple of brawlers to round out their composition before a final pick in from Tribe Gaming. It'll be Crow from Stamina. To slow things down, provide a bit of a buffer zone. Also, Crow can be a decent anti-tank just with the shield if he really needs it. Walk in some of those goals. We saw that be a pretty tried, tested, and true strategy that emerged in East Asia and was also employed in EMEA.
Yeah, I think neither of us here are honestly experts when it comes to these kind of modes. So in terms of discussion-wise, we only have the two previous regions to fall back on our knowledge from. But I agree with you. Crow, in general, is just such a nice tempo controller. And in this type of a map, I think it makes complete sense here. Lumi, another winner of the latest balance change. They reverted that nice sort of, is it unload speed kind of a mechanic. So now she's kind of back to her mid-prime, not when she had the max range, but when the attack just felt smoother and it's easy to control. I like to highlight a real funny comment that I got yesterday from the feedback that they said, well, Brawl Hockey is such a odd move that if you slip on Lumi's Fire and Frostbitten once, it's a goal. So, I mean, Lumi is kind of nuts.
Mortis, the final selection from Tribe Gaming, and no doubt it'll be RBM on that brawler. He is the aggro specialist for the squad. And there we have it on Slippery Slap. Just a heads up, everyone, we're going to be spectating from the perspective of STMN for this one because we got Diego Gamer on the spectate on his incorrect account. He joined on his mini, so we're going to be watching from the opposite perspective just for this first set here before we correct that. But it'll be interesting to put ourselves in STMN's shoes for just one set during this match.
I think there's always a slight bias, right? As a caster, I don't know. I kind of root for the team that's on my side half the time. Like, I just feel like I'm a little bit more in tune. And maybe as an act, I mean, I guess it's my coaching days coming out. I always watch it from my team's perspective. So I guess STMN is going to be our team. Oh, wait. Or we've got Tribe. Did we just randomly select Tribe by accident?
Okay, it wasn't showing him, just a little insight into the producer world, it wasn't showing him as in-game. It was saying that he had been offline for an hour. Just letting everyone know.
Oh, good. The action has begun. The spuck's already flying around. It looks like at the moment STMN are crushing. We didn't get to really talk about this Mortis pick, but I don't think it's really working out in his favor. You see, Ron Carlos is going to pass it along to Payne, and it's just the first goal of the game. Done and dusted.
Our inaugural match of Brawl Hockey in North America is already off to a pretty swift start. Payne intercepts, Luffy does his best, and the shield is enough to get a pass over to Tacos, then back to Payne for the goal. STMN are coming out of the gate swinging.
They just burnt Luffy's super as well. I mean, they just threw the puck over to him. That's a pretty good one. Double stun there from Tacos. Gonna land on 2 there, but the Fink super is sufficient to prevent Diego from going down. Luffy's gonna continue his sort of, dive bomb play that's largely unsuccessful. Throwing away that super, really painful for Mortis.
Diego Gamer looks for the move forward. Does have a pass over to RBN that could be one to Luffy on the right side. No, denied by Brawler over here, who I suppose is Juan Carlos. Maybe he got his name changed by having YT in his username. A mystery that will have to be left to you guys, the viewers, to give your best thoughts on. S-Team, though, they find themselves pressed up against the goal. It'll be a route onto Diego Gamer. Huge kill for Pain. Luffy with the bank shot over to the right. Narrowly intercepted by Lumi at the goal line. And STMN will get to move forward.
Would have been a really nice goal, though, if Luffy had managed to get that one. Imagine sacrificing your entire team, but just playing to the objective. Whereas the puck, though, did they just leave it at the spawn? Because if they did, that's such a brilliant tactic.
No!
Oh, yeah, he did, but oh my god, not when Mortis is in the game. I just said it was brilliant.
Do you think they heard you saying it was a good idea? I mean, Luffy seemed to have a sense that he could dash straight towards it. Here comes the puck, repositioned to the enemy side. Thankfully, it'll bank off of this little obstacle. 10 seconds to go to make a miracle happen. Can't make it around Pain, the defender. 5 seconds to go. Tribe Gaming not close enough to that. And in fact, it's a cross-map score for STMN to give them game 1.
Really, really strong start there from STMN. This control comp that they've drafted working in their favor there. This Mortis selection, I think it's supposed to punish the Lumi, but perhaps after the nerfs to Mortis and perhaps that little buff to Lumi, plus the fact that, you are playing in a mode whereby, this beast is going to dominate the mid the entire time. It's just too much damage. So yeah, he is swapping lanes and going on to Tacos, but he's going to go down immediately. At least RBM gets a small kill there on that left lane against Pain, but with no puck control, there's no goal that's going to be happening here anytime soon.
Love the use of that bumper at the top right to try and boost that puck a little bit more towards the enemy side. Being quite inventive, I gotta say, our players on STMN. Luffy's gonna take this puck, though. He's looking for the opening. Needs some assistance from Diego Gamer to survive that. We see the Rattled Hive isn't going to make any impact. Luffy, despite his best efforts, can't take down Pain. He's simply too tanky while he has the defense booster up. Diego Gamer now retrieving the ball once more. Uses a super because, yes, he's going to get that super pretty quickly, so he can afford to waste a shot on a super to position it to the other side. But STMN have been really smart about their positioning. They do lose Crow on the opposite side, but it's okay because Juan Carlos is still here to defend. Moves over to the right line like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, Luffy's going to be going in there, throwing in that gadget to get that 1 kill. Pain goes in for a little self-pass here, tries to get Diego Gamer, but the puck actually outsped Pain. If that was Brawl Ball, he could catch it. Now RBM gets a clean shot, not going to go in though. Juan Carlos is there to block it. Passes over there to Tacos. Is just going to do a little bit of cornering maneuver here, just trying to corral that puck, but it's going to get back into Luffy's hands.
If he's ready with this puck, he would much rather use the super on a set of bats to send to the enemy side. Going to get his healing reduced and pretty much nullified on that attempt to move in. Crow is definitely the right answer to this, just slows down that aggressive play tremendously. Tacos now around the left side will get a pinch. Luffy's going to position that towards the goal. Love that. Love seeing professional players toss it at their own goal just to send it to someone who's respawning, but it is also evidence of a desperate move. Here it comes. No! And a self-score off the bumper to Tacos for the goal on STMN, and they lead now by 1 goal.
That's a disaster now. With only 30 seconds left on the clock to come back from this. They've got no puck control at the moment. Yon is even going to be going for a big pass over, but Luffy intercepts that one and even get the kill onto Pain. But they've got no control at the moment. That puck is sort of getting into that center position. Grim and Frostbittens on top of it. Luffy dies to get the pass in. Diego Gamer tries to get the ball in, but no, he can't. The puck just stopped by Pain. He's just got to hold on to it for another 5 seconds. Passes over to Yuan even. Tries to get the goal and corners the puck even further away. It's going to be STMN that take the set.
That was just ridiculous right there. That blunder against the bumper. So sad to watch there for Tribe. You saw how difficult of a time they were having. Also, Diego Gamer in the final moments nearly had a goal there, but his shot must have not reloaded in time. Look at this right there. Just the lineup was perfect for STMN. Now, mind you, this is also their map pick. So we'll be headed to what Tribe deemed more favorable territory after this. But Stamina looked pretty comfortable. The passes between each other looked like they'd been practicing this. In fact, we saw Juan Carlos watching the streams yesterday, so there's no doubt that he brought some of those strats home.
Yeah, we saw some NA players in the chat. Juan Carlos was one. We'll see Balvi later on as well. He had a comment, right? He was like, trying to be on this stream and studying the meta, but watching the stream just makes me even more confused about the meta. But, well, at the very least, we can tell for sure, right? STMN, if they were paying attention, it is paying off for sure.
We're just waiting on them to get started on their very next map, which is Triple Dribble. We're going to go ahead and hop into draft there and see what Tribe and STMN can make of Basket Brawl. It's 2 ball modes in a row. That's what I want to call it. If we saw both of these modes enter competitive, then we'd have officially 3 ball modes, and we could call it Brawl Stars, maybe, just because this objective that gets deposited at the enemy side seems to be a pretty engaging aspect of these game modes. Now, who has that first pick is what I want to know. We're going to derive some of that info from the bans. Mind you, the global bans are still in effect. They were chosen at the beginning of the match, directly after the map picks, and they'll persist the entire time. Frank being out of the equation is a major one here, since we saw him basically be a win condition in Basket Brawl, especially in East Asia.
And we're getting to see a new map today, right? Yesterday, we basically saw this map called Ball Hog the entire time.
Yeah.
And the reasoning I've heard behind why they chose that map is that it looks like Basket Brawl at this moment has a kind of small issue where the map is a little bit too small, right? So it's already a small map, and so every little tile and little wall that you put inside just incentivizes tanks to become so incredibly strong, or you have to like commit to a full wall break strategy and just play Purple Paradise. Or you could just pick Rico, who received insane balance changes recently to that projectile speed. But that's it, right? Like, that's what I mean. So that was the major feedback that I think I got from players yesterday. It looks like NA is not that concerned about that. Maybe it is the tank region after all, and this is Tribe Gaming's pick. They've got some of the best tank players, right? Let's pick the best tanky map. Okay,
Juan Carlos on the Rico. And let's mind another change to Rico is that his unload speed is just, or not rather his unload speed, but pretty much the speed that he shoots his projectiles. Like, they have way less gap between them, which makes it way, way easier for him to hit those shots because, or also not take damage, because used to be you'd have to strafe with your enemy to hit all those shots. Now you don't have to strafe as much. It's also like an issue that Colt or Lou face, for example, where they have to strafe with the enemy. Tribe Gaming fire back with this Poco selection. This is one of those that we observed throughout the day yesterday in East Asia and in EMEA, but especially East Asia. This death ball sort of strat. Get the Poco in, pretty early, and then later on, we'll go ahead and pick up a tank to enable that. Poco and Stu now been selected by Tribe Gaming. Something to note is that Lou would be like a phenomenal anti-tank here from STMN, and Stu makes that matchup way more difficult.
Yeah, we saw this to, I believe it was East Asia in the hands of Naipishu or something. And basically, in Basket Brawl, there's this idea whereby if you have a super, you can guarantee a 3-point goal even from the middle. You don't have to play from the extreme ends. And Stu's benefit is that he charges super so quickly, and this map is so small that it's basically impossible to deny Stu getting that super. So he's always going to have the option to do these kind of like long passes, which are kind of important in Basket Brawl because you can't really do long range passes in the current state of the mode. But STMN, they fire back, right? So I'm just going to literally read from the feedback some of the stuff, right?
Let's
Which is Lumi. Once again, it's like they were like, oh, I get caught by Lumi Gadget. My opponent gets a goal. How is that fair? Like, that was literally the idea behind the Lumi, and it looks like it's going to persist here in STMN. This trunk pick, though. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of walls, I guess.
He can do some pretty ridiculous damage. I'm concerned for Tacos into the Stu matchup. Into Poco, that should be pretty free, honestly. I wonder if Tribe Gaming decide to lean into something like a BB, though. Like having the healing from Poco, then getting some additional healing from Vitamin Booster should be a surefire way to get to the enemy side. Buzz, however, is what the doctor ordered. Because there is a major consideration. What is your plan on getting in range versus Lumi? She's going to keep you at max range for as long as possible. So this is the schmovement that Tribe Gaming has in store. They have Stu, who's going to try and dodge some of those maces as they fly out, or Morning Stars, perhaps. Then Buzz also will be able to get a super for free. Look at all the terrain So it shouldn't be too much of an issue for him to move his circular radius that auto charges super onto some of those enemies and get super for free.
Yeah, the map is so small. I think he's going to get so many supers this game and the hypercharges as well. Can't wait to see what's going to happen when he does get hypercharges online and if there's going to be some self-pass action going on. But we're going to have to wait and see. So Grim and Frostbitten going down, is this instantly going to translate into a goal? Well, not exactly. Young Carlos tried to go for it though. Huge damage out from Pain, but RBM is on the point. And now it's just time for the most stressful part of basketball, which is to open goals. Just take your time and lob it in.
Yeah, so you're basically given a gimme shot, and you're like, don't screw it up, don't screw it up, it's perfect. And he didn't freeze for too long, so good on him. It's 2 points for Tribe Gaming so far. S-Team in with a crazy offense, but Luffy's made a breakaway towards the opposite side. No issue. Pain, however, does have to fall back and play defense. He can't engage Diego Gamer alone. Oh, nearly got him with another bit of damage there from the main attack shots. He has a super right to move as well, but everyone on Tribe is so spread apart that he can't really maximize the value here. Ends up using the super, but is caught out by Diego Gamer in that awkward position. The ball passed forward. Also, Tacos needs to get out of here, and Diego Gamer is able to circle over. Missed position, though. Could this be the goal for one? Yes! Buckets! And Tribe Gaming scrambling to pick up the pieces here.
That felt like actual basketball, but we've still got action going on here. Tacos gets a 2-man stun, and another hypercharge coming up from Johan Carlo just shreds through the entire team. But the ball was cleared up to the north there. Can RBM pull off the defense? Passes over the mid. Pain's gonna go for the three-pointer. It's a whiff. Goes for another layup there. Okay, at least they salvage it with a two-pointer, but the match could have ended right there and then.
Okay, we're gonna get some real basketball stats after this. Surely, right? Rebounds, how many points do you have from the three? Oh, and Juan Carlos runs it down, just using all that HP from Trunk to tank things up to the goal line and score another two-pointer. It's all two-pointers, everything in the paint here so far for STMN.
Yeah, it took 3 2-pointers to get it, and they could have potentially had it. But I think, guys, let's be real here. None of these guys are practicing this mode currently ahead of the year. So if they can land it in that split second, that's pretty wild. I mean, really nice attempt, and I love the way that this, sort of STMN emerged in that one. But Tribe in this one, though, they're gonna be clapping back. 2 out of 3 lanes, 1 already. It's an open goal at the moment. Luffy's gonna go for that three-pointer, and that's gonna get it. Just 2 points more. A single score will do the trick for them.
Ball pass forward to Juan Carlos once again. This time it's RBM. However, to get aggressive, Luffy also really wants that ball. It's going to have to be a pass to him from Diego Gamer. Has that super in hand. Perfect timing, and boom! Three-pointer. A second one for Tribe to get them secured. Game number 2 and tie up the set.
2 lightning-fast games. The first one, a little bit more of a back-and-forth grudge match. Yeah, a bit scrunchy there between both of the teams there, but in this other game, it looks like Tribe Gaming have sort of figured it out there. Win the matchups first, and then just get the ball over to Luffy to get that dunk in. He's going to be starting off once again here. Johan Carlos immediately just goes to secure the ball, and now try to go for the layup. That was a bit too forced, though.
A little too hasty. Tribe Gaming, however, can make something out of this. That ball position towards S-Team inside. It'll be quickly snatched up by them. Pain with a strafing and a super to eliminate Diego Gamer. RBM goes for 2. Pain lasers the bottom side, and Luffy's a goner. Pain single-handedly kept that defense online for STMN. But Tribe Gaming are unrelenting. RBM in for the stun. No dice onto Juan Carlos on the top side, and Luffy with the wall break and the elimination. They need to get this ball past to Diego Gamer, but once again, Pain is a professional defender, but sometimes DPS is not enough to punch through all that HP.
Can't wait to see his KD stats after this game. He's gotten so many pickoffs, but it's just about the objective. If the map was slightly bigger, maybe he had a shot there, but in this case, it doesn't happen. Hypercharge is going to be coming out there from RBM, backed up by Diego Gamer's Hypercharge as well, but not going to be enough damage. Diego Gamer trying to force it through, but Johan Carlos has the Hypercharge ready. Gets a double kill assisted there by Pain. The ball is transferred over to that northern side, but RBM's already respawned, and with that shield as well, there's no way to stop him there. Tacos pops that Hypercharge, tries to get a nice route. It's only onto Diego Gamer, not enough, and they can't even secure the ball, but Pain is back there for Hypercharge. This might be enough. No! Still not enough damage. Johan Carlos keeps trying and keeps failing.
A missed opportunity there as well because he had the super in hand. Luffy nearly got the ball. It was snatched away by Juan Carlos on the right side, and Tribe will retreat. They're up by 2 points. They have 50 seconds on the clock, and they don't have any control at all. Gotta be a kill here for Juan Carlos. And now a pass over to Payne. Super in hand. No, bounced off the rim once, but it's still good. 3 for STMN.
That's a bit lucky then. A split-second decision there from Juan Carlos. He knew he would die there, passes it over to his teammate. Now we're seeing complete pandemonium though. Reversal of the positions as Tribe get team wiped. If he misses this one, okay. No way Tacos misses that one. He did have the super in tow. Beelines down there, dunks it in. STMN, 2 sets up already.
STMN not on their own map pick. They've proven to be champions of the ball modes. Look at this from Juan Carlos. What a scrappy interaction there to get up to. And STMN managed to win game 1 using only 2 pointers. If I recall, bounced off the rim. Yeah, the rebound from Juan Carlos was also quite impressive. The defense from STMN proved to be incredible, but Juan Carlos with the HP was unstoppable. Tribe Gaming, they went all for movement and for control. They had some assassination capabilities on their team with RBM, but in the end, it seemed like Luffy was always on defense and never had enough DPS.
Yeah, definitely for sure. The problem with this Trunk Brawler in general is that that gadget just gives him so much additional healing, and in a map like this, you can just run into Diego Gamer's shots, and it's always going to be a guaranteed extra bit of HP there, and I think that's exactly what he did. But Payne, though, he's got to be the supportive MVP. I mean, if Juan Carlos, I don't even know basketball players, but Juan Carlos to me is that whoever plays the position that, you know, is the one going to dunks, and the guy who assists is Payne, and that was what STMN's sort of formation that it completely broke Tribe into 2.
Basketball's got to be one of my favorite modes to watch. I might even put it as #1 just because we've seen what the players do with it, where they do go for plays. We saw SK using like actual basketball strats yesterday, passing the ball between different brawlers, going for picks and misdirection when it came to who they actually wanted to score the ball. And today we saw pretty much drives up into the paint for layups from Juan Carlos. Really impressive stuff. But it's time for us to go to a different type of thing that you can carry and deposit on the opposite side of the map. Am I noticing a trend here? It's time to move to Present Plunder.
Don't jump to conclusions just yet. It's only set number 3. Tribe Gaming could still potentially pull this one back. So far, spoiler alert, in all of the preseason icebreakers, if you guys want to watch the VOD, cover your ears now, we've already seen reverse sweeps, right? So we've started off the year with a reverse sweep in every region so far. Can North America do the same? Tribe is going to be the one, up to the challenge for it. And looking at these bans, immediately, what seems to keep happening is that the drafters on both teams have some kind of plan that has to do with Charlie. And okay, now we see an Angelo on a map that has water, which honestly, I don't know if that's really the map given the fact of how much walls are here. It doesn't seem like an open map to me.
I like Angelo here, just like as a defender. I also personally like Angelo on Heist, for example. And this is one of those modes where you flow between attack and defense quite frequently on an objective that doesn't really move all that much. You know, control the zone at home. And Angelo's really great at being cleanup crew. Now, let me also shout something out real quick. Kit is just hilarious right here. Juan Carlos got a good deal of fame for an interaction where he played Kit into an Angelo on Heist, you probably remember for a couple of years ago. But in the time since, he has become a bit of an Angelo merchant, so there's not much of a doubt in my mind that Angelo will be the Juan Carlos brawler here. Another thing I want to just point out is that one of those jump pads that's supposed to be on the map got sent to the Shadow Realm before we put the image in here. So just note that it's going to come back before the match starts. It's just during the draft, you're not seeing it. It's in a different dimension.
Oh yeah. And Gale's going to make his appearance first time in this preseason icebreaker. Don't think we saw it picked at all yesterday. But yeah, every region seems to have a different take on these modes. And that's to be expected, right? It's experimental formats. There's a high likelihood that these guys haven't played these maps in maybe, what, 6 months? 4 months since the last time that they've seen it. So surely, they were cooking this probably, even though they're pro players, probably like at most spend like an hour or two thinking about some stuff, some concepts. And at least in theory, right? Gale's a fantastic defender, right? You put the tornado down on one side, you kind of enter the base, and I think it does disrupt the present, and a super straightaway just turns that into nothing. Now, STMN, though, they go back to a more familiar idea. I think we saw Boss piloting this Rico on this map as a first pick. just a couple just yesterday, and it was a complete menace here. Ariko post balance changes is pretty good brawler at the moment.
Pretty scary. Yeah, and also just like smart of them to take that away from Luffy. Maybe it is pretty late into the draft. You can make the argument that they didn't really want the Rico that badly, but Luffy has a reputation for running Robo Retreat and staying on low HP for the entire match. So it'll be Pain taking up that mantle once again. And he was pretty much indomitable on this brawler in basketball, so he should be also a pretty solid defender here. Seems like STMN are going to look to Cordelius to be their brawler that gets the movement out here. I would say the same can go for Juan Carlos, though a lot of times I do see him run the Pierce gadget rather than the jump one, so that is still a mystery. Stu, final brawler now from Tribe Gaming.
Yeah, looking at just that really contest the matchups in general here. SDMN's comp seems to have come together in the end here with that Cordelius pickup. I can kind of understand here. You're dissuading any kind of like Kit tank interaction, right? Like you just send whoever's in the realm, and Kit's left on his own, is lonesome, is gonna be picked off. So it's basically forcing Kit to just play by itself. And we're gonna be seeing some of these star powers change up here. Obviously, Diego Gamer is not gonna be running the showdown star power there on because he had it equipped for a moment. Yeah, lucky change that he did that. And I do believe, is that the Pierce gadget on Juan Carlos that I see? Is that the jump?
I think that's Stinging Flight. Yeah, I think that's the one that makes him jump and deal a small amount of damage wherever he jumps from. But let's be real, like, why would you want to be on top of an enemy as Angelo? So it'll be Juan Carlos, the defender, needs a couple more shots to take down Diego Gamer. Takes 3 scratches to the face. That's not very good. And now, while these individual shots are so deadly, he doesn't really have all that much DPS. He can hit every single shot and still be pushed back as far as he was by the combination of Gale and Kit.
Yeah, Diego Gamer's looking for a super there, just kind of waiting for Luffy to assist him there. There is the timing, it's there, but Diego Gamer might trade out for it. He did take a poison-tipped arrow there from Juan Carlos. On the left side, Tacos is going to lose to RBM inside his own realm there. That's going to open up the entirety of the left lane, but some lane swaps may be in play here. Pain is going to get a nice big laser there onto RBM. It's a bit too slippery at the moment. Diego Gamer comes back, cycles it on to Juan Carlos, gives him a taste of his own medicine, and Pain's back on the tear.
Diego Gamer, oh. What a disappointment, taken down by Tacos as he's now trying to move up into this right position. Has to retreat because he knows he's not going to be able to do that much versus RBM with the wall break. And here is the Welcome to the Swamp. Yes, folks, that is the name of the super from Angelo. Juan Carlos really wants to push through. He's doing some gradual damage versus Luffy, and we'll see Pain totally nullify that push from RBM. There's a Stinging Flight. That's why it's there. And look at that. He's able to float gracefully over the water and make a beeline back home.
Okay, that's not balanced. That doesn't look right. Okay, he kind of messed up. Like, yeah, the present was momentarily, yeah, like the jump idea was dissuaded. But this is another cool feature. Like when, you know, you see the Angelo going back all the way to base, it's a huge tempo loss. And immediately look at how Tribe have capitalized on that. Like they've already managed to send all 3 of their players in the front. Unfortunately, RBM is going to go down there, and that kind of nullifies the whole point of the little tactic. But that was the timing that so far we've seen in, you know, both regions play. That's what they exploited, and, you know, it was well done by Tribe Gaming, but they are still 1 present down.
It would crack me up to see STMN make it through here into the grand finals and pull off the same strat again with Angelo. Anyone who faces him would have to be wise enough not to let that happen again. 15 seconds to go. Tribe Gaming nowhere near this present. It's just one of the difficulties of this mode is once the enemy has collected 1 present already, they're only going to play defense, and STMN has selected some of the best defenders in Brawl Stars. It's going to be game number 1 headed to STMN, and it'll put them at match point.
Really fast match point at that. Someone said this is going to be potentially a short stream. I am seeing a trend here. Aside from EMEA, I think it's what, first stream of the day. So East Asia, we saw Crazy Raccoon. Spoilers, guys, if you guys want to watch, cover your ears. But yeah, so Sierra got eliminated, then Accept got eliminated. Like basically the big team seems to be going out early. Is Tribe going to fall to that trend as well? Are they basically the East Asia of the second stream? We're going to have to wait to find out. They can still potentially make a comeback here. And if anyone can do it, it's got to be Tribe.
Diego Gamer with the super on the right side will get the kill on Pain, and a bit of pressure of the right lane. Luffy just doesn't want to get jumped on by Juan Carlos. Juan Carlos still somehow gets a kill out of that interaction, and he will survive for only a moment longer on the bottom left. It's afforded some time for STMN to play some defense. Excellent teamwork with a kit on the left side, but it only ever amounts to a trade. I feel like Tribe Gaming went really heavy on the defenders, and their offense is just not really cutting the mustard here. RBM with his movement is not able to get to this present efficiently, and the same goes for Diego Gamer on the kit.
Yeah, it feels like they're missing like just one more tank to work with, and this Cordelia's last pick did really break the comp. Now we do see Diego Gamer going for a big jump. Didn't connect with Pain though. That's gonna be pretty bad. Juan Carlos even picks off Luffy as well. And once again, it's just a 1 versus 3. They're just trying to extract tacos, and it's a successful extraction. Diego Gamer can't stop this one. You guys see the pins get thrown out here. It's another easy present there for the side of STMN. And as you mentioned, with only 1 minute left, STMN just need to play defense to bring this one home.
Bit of deja vu now because STMN are in the lead by 1 present, but what? Diego Gamer's got the present. They just need to get rid of tacos. Luffy knew that Diego was going to get realmed, but now he's deleted by Pain. Going for 1, going for 2 with this super. Diego's going to come out of the realm, but everyone's waiting for him. Absolutely deleted in a flash, and this present's going to go back to STMN's base.
Oh, that's so disgusting, right? That's exactly why Cordelia is picked inside this mode. A lot of tech that we're seeing here, and I mean, you know, beyond that, it's just, you know, just so difficult to push into this Rico. I think he got a little bit lucky there, but this time though, okay, Tri managed to break through thanks to RBM's hypercharge. Oh my god, I think he wanted to pass the present, I think, and he kind of forgot that you can't do that. And meanwhile, Juan Carlos, he's holding the other present hostage. Okay, he's gonna be pushing it out here. Now it's time for the little hostage rescue situation. Diego Gamer needs to get on top of that present. Yeah, you can see the timer going down extremely quickly here. So in this case, is it enough time though? 13 seconds left on the clock. We could be going into overtime here. 9 seconds left. Diego's got to reclaim the present for his team. And there we go. Tied up 1-1. It could be going to overtime.
I'll study the game mode, but Luffy's in the Shadow Realm. This one's going to be headed over to Juan Carlos, and he's flying away with all of his strength. Stunned on the spot by Diego Gamer, who needs to stand on top of this present to capture it. But it looks like the priority is on getting RBM home. Diego Gamer now has the present in tow. The slowing star power from Luffy is enough to keep Diego Gamer safe and bring this present to Tribe Gaming spawn. This match isn't over yet, but the match point is still in place.
All right, folks, Tribe Gaming finally get one on the board. Could be the beginning of a wonderful reverse sweep, and I might have just jinxed them by saying that.
Don't do it.
I don't know. I would like to see at least one set won by Tribe Gaming. You know, not for you know, data collection reasons, but beyond that, yeah, I do want to see the fourth one at the very least and get the Ancient Treasure. But it looks like it's a pretty bad start here for Tribe Gaming. The right lane's already completely folded there. Pain plus Juan Carlos is doing so much work there, pinching so beautifully, and yeah, it's not looking great.
Of all the lanes they could afford to lose, it's really not the worst, but it's still pretty bad. It allows Juan Carlos to get in here and float away with the present, and look at that, Taco's tanking all of the damage so that Angelo can freely fly back over the water and deposit this in the home zone. Yeah, throws up the mewing pin too. I would in that situation. Didn't take them long at all to get that very first present.
Oh yeah, I kind of see the strats now, but once again, the tempo loss from having to drag that present all the way home is going to allow Tribe Gaming, and this time they're exploiting it well. Diego Gamer though is going to go down and beyond. RPM is like, I want to grab the present, but I can't. Luffy's sent to the Shadow Realm. He took it for his teammates. Can RBM just barely make it out of here? It looks like he's tempted to dash, but he knows as soon as he does that, he's going to drop the present. And Diego Gamer jumping in there, protect the present, is successful. We've brought the present home.
Oh my goodness, the teamwork here is just absolutely ridiculous. And now it's as if the game just started, but we're low on time before we go to overtime. A minute left, and the present count is tied on both sides. It's one present to win the entire match for STMN and go to the grand finals. For Tribe, this is just to keep their tournament lives alive. And this is not their comfortable pick either. We'll see the kit jump in from Diego Gamer into the box, but it's not enough to stay away from Tacos. Tacos throws RBM into the realm and nearly even gets the winning interaction. He's one more mushroom to take him down and gets it. STMN back with a grip of control over mid.
Luffy got to clap back though. A nice super there to push back after elimination onto Pain. Diego Gamer tried to go for that kid interaction, but Juan Carlos is just too fast. Luffy kind of forcing the point there, and that's going to leave just only RBM left on the defense. 1 versus 3 at the moment. Johan Carlos doesn't push the issue. He wants to play this safe, play on that Cordelia's hypercharge, play on Pain's hypercharge as well. We see the first one flying out onto Diego Gamer. Shots are gonna fly, ricochet all over the place, chaining back-to-back supers, and there we go. Now Johan Carlos trying to pull out the point, but he's gonna follow there the present. Is it in range for Pain to pick it up? Can he actually touch it? Yes, he does. 2 seconds left on the clock. We're going to overtime. Diego Gamer jumps. It's a desperation play, but just transfer a presence. Tacos has got it, and there's no way Tribe defend this. Here's some BM for you, Mr. Tribe. You're not getting this one. You're getting nothing. You're getting 3-0'd by STMN.
Just ridiculous showing here from STMN. 3-0 against Tribe Gaming. Estimated to be one of the strongest rosters in North America right now. Could even be placed at #1 following a showing at the World Finals. But STMN with a likewise huge showing at the World Finals and here in the Icebreaker, that's going to send them on to the Grand Finals.
Excellent stuff coming out from STMN here, and I am feeling for Tribe there. I mean, I feel like it's almost like if they understood the mode a little bit better, then the timings would have been better. But it's very obvious that like the understanding of the timings of like, you know, when's it safe to go in, it's just a little bit, it's something that they don't really get. Like the respawn time is, you know how in Brawl Ball you memorize that, and then so you know when's a good time to try to make a play and when's the time to just, you know, not force the issue. I felt Tribe was forcing it most of the time here, and meanwhile they had STMN, right? They just drafted in a way whereby they just play standard Brawl Stars, and then, you know, they didn't really have to think too much tactically. Just win on your lanes, and then we've got some disgusting exploit going on with this Angelo stuff and with Cordelia's Realms and new tech and stuff, right? And, you know, it just worked out better.
We have so many highlights from this because it was an exhilarating set that went to game number 3, and you never really know, like, is it going to be a 2-0? STMN seemed to make it look so dominant. Then in game number 2, it was a comeback from Tribe, tied up in game number 3, and then this final interaction, this was the true nail-biter. Diego Gamer needed to get that super back, and he did, but it was just a moment too late. Enough time to bring the present home for STMN, get them a 3-0. And look at the stats also. It looked pretty dismal in the game end screen. It was really just that last game that looked pretty bad for Tribe Gaming, but overall, it was a quite even set.
It was so close, and I got a shout out, right? That first pick, Angelo, I doubted it. I didn't understand it. Chat, you called me out on it. You called me out on it for good. Johan Carlos, you're the GOAT, right? I didn't understand the tech behind it. I obviously don't play enough Present Plunder to know, but gotta say, chat, what do you think? Do you think Angelo and RT and those water walking brawlers should be allowed to drag the present over the water? Is that a fair thing to you guys? If it isn't, if it is, comment in the section, chat below, whatever, social media, blow it up, flame us, tell Spew why, you know, this mode should be or should not be in competitive. We want to hear from you guys. You know, that's kind of the whole point of this tournament. It's not just to subject our players to torture. I think we borrowed them for this exact purpose. But without you guys, the viewers watching, is it interesting? I don't know already. As a caster, I'm enjoying it.
No, I'm getting a huge kick out of this. Folks, don't forget, you're watching the Preseason Icebreaker in North America. We're going to a quick break to prepare for our next match. When we return, it's Vatic versus KDS Esports. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to the Preseason Icebreaker here in North America. I'm still ready set, if I recall, and I think that's still Spoo, and we're going to be taking you through the second semi-final in this top 4 bracket. I'm really excited for this one, Spoo.
I am twitching with excitement after that first one. It was lightning fast, no pun intended, as Tierman dispatched the brothers in red so quickly that we didn't even get a chance to think if, I mean, it was just too quick. And already now we're in the second semifinals. It's going to be Vatic going up against KDS. I haven't been following North America too long, but what I do know is that a certain somebody did get caught in a snowstorm. So this isn't Vatic's full roster. Could you shed a bit of light about who's going to be filling in and what we should know about him?
Yeah, okay, so look, another thing I want to point out is that Livy is subbed out today, and Vatic, they tweeted out their announcement that they're going to be playing today, which huge thank you to you if you came from that announcement to support Vatic. But Livy was frozen in a block of ice in that, and I think that might actually be what happened in real life. He's taken shelter from the storm, so there's going to be Ducky taking his place. So as I said at the top of the show, welcome back, Team Oinkers. We really missed you. They're going to be repping Vatic today against KDS Esports, a roster that has also materialized in the offseason during all of the roster mania. It's SSG, but they have Patchy instead of Chino, and I think this is going to be a real entertaining one. It's time to start, Spoo, it's time to start talking about the maps that they picked and the brawlers that they decided to get rid of for the entire match.
So for those guys just tuning in and you're not familiar with the format, yep, this is not BSC. These maps are definitely not BSC maps, right? But this is the difference, right? So we've got some wacky modes that are going on here that we're looking into, but there's also this map pick system. So KDS had the first pick because they are seated lower. As to why they're seated lower, it's because they're in red at the moment. So it's red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. They decided to go Super Center first. Vatic picked Excellent Excavations, which we've seen before. We know how that could go out. Case of the Mondays, Treasure and Plunder was selected, and then Ballhog is the Vatic selection, and then the Parallel Place was that default tiebreaker map that was predetermined. Now, global bans, though, looking into them, oh my god. I mean, every single region, a different set of global bans.
No, truly, it's so entertaining to watch. We do see the Frank and the Mina being banned again. Those are carryovers from the last match. But Poco now out of it. Kenji is an interesting one. I guess KDS know that this is a comfort brawler for Vatic and that they're going to be facing it quite a lot. Also, just on Brawl Hockey in general, he can be so troublesome. Not only does he provide good pressure all the time, but his dash should get him to that hockey puck early on and get a bank shot. And KDS Esports, while they could have picked this themselves, of course, Brawl Hockey is their map selection, they wanted to safeguard themselves against the possibility.
As the bans are rolling in, I wonder if we'll start to see a different set. I was going to call it out to say, maybe we'll see B get banned out. I mean, it was selected every single time. And I want to just relay some of the early feedback that we've been getting here from the previous day. Somebody, I'm not going to disclose who, mentioned that this mode kind of feels like if I take one shot, I get hit once in the mid and I have to fall back and there's just no way to come back from that and it's instantly a goal. Looking, you can see, right? Like if you draw a line from that mid puck to the goal, there's a straight line right there.
That's so true.
Is that fair? I don't know, but okay. Who is this brawler and why was she allowed?
Yeah, so that's the electromagnetic zombie. And she's going to be taking selfies all over the court while at the rink, while also basically winning the game single-handedly. She did get some pretty hefty nerfs. While she was at her highest point in strength when she'd just gotten those buffies, she was unstoppable. And she still is really strong. So much so that Vatic are willing to pick her on a map that is honestly quite open. We'll see Spike, the response from KDS, and note that both of the brawlers picked so far have been brawlers that received buffies and got some minor alterations, in the case of M's actually quite major, in the last patch that came through a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and I think both gadgets are viable, right? That's what's making M's just so strong in the meta right now. I mean, it's just the flexibility that you can get. But let's talk a little bit about KDS, right? I mean, yes, they've left the broken brawler in the game, right? That's not freak out. It's not globally banned. It wasn't set banned, and they knew it, right? KDS definitely saw this coming. Does it have to do with the map? Maybe like they feel that there's not enough walls to really safeguard and allow this M's to just, be a complete menace. Well, their answer appears to be the Spike Meepo setup two brawlers that have never been paired in the history of Brawl Stars just yet. But as you said, Spike received the buffies. Meeple has always been really decent here, and if they pick up that stun gadget, I think that's like some openings to have some sneaky plays there. You know, shoot through the brawler, stun it, the puck just goes straight through. Pretty good brawler here. But Vatic though, they're doing something that East Asia did. They pair up the M's with the Max, and we've already seen, sorry, not East Asia, SK Gaming. We already saw SK do this and just completely run away the game with this.
Yeah, and they ran towards you as well. You just beeline towards the enemy side. The Max and M strat is so strong. At this point, you might even be able to afford a tank, but no, they didn't want to go that route. Although Crow can be a bit of a mini tank. Bear with me here. He throws on the defense booster and he absorbs an absurd amount of damage. The number isn't coming to mind right now, but Spoo, I bet you know it's somewhere around like 50%. Like it's a ridiculous amount of shield just to have on a gadget.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount. I think it's 40%.
Okay.
And then if you include the damage reduction from... yeah, like that's why. So someone did the math and it was like you have the effective HP, EHP of Crow is something about 10 to 11,000. You know, if you just run into people and just reduce the damage, it's a lot. I just want to say, Vatic, East Asia Call, they want their comp back. I know we don't own proprietary max comms, but this exact structure, I swear, is so 2022 East Asia. KDS though, they've got a bit more of a modern take to the meta here. They've got just some long range stuff going on here. Gotta say, I think a lot of this is gonna hinge on that Spike getting to chain off a lot of supers here. It's the only Buffy brawler that I see. I don't really understand the logic behind the Bell here. It just feels like a bit of a weak selection. It's outside of this mode. Like it feels like discount B, basically.
Okay, I'll give you my thoughts here. You talk about getting hit in the mid once, right? If there's a brawler that you don't want to be hit by when you're near your teammates, it's gotta be Bell. Also, it's a comfort brawler for Bobby. Promise you I was thinking of this ahead of time and not just like making the observation. Oh, holy, what a shot from Bobby. Man's been studying the angles. Oh, nearly took down Ducky. He was at 50 HP to intercept that puck. You can tell that Bobby has been putting a lot of preparation for hockey, and it's not just because it's the national sport of Canada.
Yeah, shield gear coming in clutch to save Ducky there. Change the interaction here. Pucks just you know, traded between both teams. We talked a lot about puck control yesterday. It's the same thing here. Bilal, though, making a little bit of headway there on that right lane, but it's still a mid-range brawler going up against a Spike plus a Bell there, so it's easy pitch for him. Rafiki almost gets this kill onto Sans. He's going to be stunned just momentarily there. We see that bounce gadget up from the Bell from Bobby. Not going to be able to make a nice connection there. The puck is going from left to right. Bilal sped up there. Could have picked it up then going for a shot, but it looks like they just want to play for control at the moment. It's just pandemonium. They're just passing this in the center.
Now making its way to the opposite side where Sans decides he's too good to pick up that puck. It's going to befall the responsibility of Patchy. Needs a couple shots to take down Rafiki. Now also with that shot. Ooh, banks it. I don't think he meant to go for that sort of angle. That extra bouncing provided enough time for Ducky to go and stop that goal. That would have been had it been angled slightly differently.
Going once again for a nice gadget. Didn't really make a connection with Bilal, but here's the hypercharge from Max. Let's go. It's time to fly in there with that puck. The second speed can be chained down. Bilal there. Now with the super on that right lane, just tearing through KDS. This looks like an undefendable position, and indeed it is. Vatic are going to get the first goal of the game, and there's only 40 seconds left for KDS to make a comeback.
Should be enough time, though. KDS have a couple hypercharges active, but the response from Vatic is pretty stalwart. Bobby now going to fall to the poison. Ducky, despite being slowed, should have the angle. It's a nice, clean goal for Vatic to put 2 versus 0 up. KDS looks like they're out of options. Not any cheeky opportunities offered to them. Patchy's going to try and... Oh, my goodness. It worked. The cheeky opportunity was there. Bobby gets the goal. 12 seconds to win it.
Can clock strike twice? Well, they've got to have 8 seconds to find out, and Bilal's just too much. Okay, that's ended. They deleted everyone. It's going to be 3-1 for Vatic. They're going to be claiming this first game in this set. But okay, KDS, they look kind of promising. Okay, I can kind of see the math here, but they've got to respect that M so much more. They can't be getting caught by that gadget. Every time they get slowed, it's instantly just a death wish. Ducky is going to come in and laser them down from the mid. But I think, yeah, the idea in the early game, as you mentioned, just play the lanes, right? If Bobby lands a nice couple shots onto Ducky and just gaps him in the mid, that could equal to an early goal, and that could be the math. But
do we get the solution that we desire from those figurings. Well, KDS Esports, they're hoping that this preparation between games will be enough to get their goals earlier on. It's a pass up to Sands, looks for an opening. He's wandering right into the shot from Bilal, but it was all part of the plan. Use that rage quit gadget to go ahead and put one in with just 30 seconds in the game so far.
Bilal's making a huge push forward, though. Ducky going to be going in, trying to get this ball in. He's going to get the walk in. 3 brawlers there. Not enough to stop Ducky from getting that ball, and not enough damage to bring him down either. I know we keep calling it a ball. It's more of a puck here, but oh, man. All habits die hard. The speed's going to be coming out there from Ducky once again. Giving it to Bilal. It's a gradual pass forward there. Bang shot. Not going to connect. Goes into Bobby's hands. And now it's just all defense for KDS.
Okay, the offense, however, for Vatic. Ducky ready to receive this puck. A pass over to Rafiki. Now to Bilal. He had more HP. No, it's tricky. Over to Ducky. No dice on the trick shot. Tried to get it in. Could have walked it in too. But instead opted to attempt at the corner of the goal. I think he was believing that Sands had the gadget ready and that he needed to dispense the puck as soon as possible. But it wasn't the case at all.
Yeah, I want to say that he made a mistake there, but I can't understand some of the higher level rationale. There goes Bilal, though. Huge hypercharge. Bobby just trying to clear this puck out. Don't think this will be a goal. And if it was, there was nothing that Vatic could do about it. It's across the map. Patchy is the last man standing here, and he's just getting completely spawn trapped. Throws down the life plan, and then kisses goodbye to his life. Ducky once again going in, spams that auto aim, just trying to clear the save there. Patchy is going to be trying to get that puck. He's trying to clear it out. Rafiki jumps back, but preemptively catches it. The defense there is good from KDS, though.
Oh, so messy from Vatic. It felt like they had an opportunity, but they weren't able to make anything of it. Now they've allowed KDS an opportunity to capitalize on their lack of respawn, but Rafiki clutches up with a respawn shield, throws away that puck. It bounces back to Bilal, who has to do something with this thing. A little bit of spinning, dodging the shots. Just going to wait till overtime because this is the idea. He's going to walk over toward the goal as well to deposit this one over to Ducky. The strength of having this puck in overtime is just ridiculous. 1 kill is all they really need, but instead, Ducky accidentally doesn't pick it up. He'll be able to receive it and now go for the goal. A pass up to Bilal is enough with a wide open goal for Vatic to slide this one on through. KDS will fall on their own map selection.
Not what you want to see going into this preseason icebreaker. The way that the format is structured is that if you're the first person to pick the map, you want to make sure that you win on your own map, right? If the moment you lose on your own map, it kind of puts you in a scary position because, you know, you're going to be playing on your opponent's map next. But let's just, you know, break it down a little bit. It was a really action-packed game, but yeah, look at these replays. I bet you there's going to be so many of that it's basically just Bilal landing a simple gadget and then everything, I mean, everything collapses for KDS.
I love the team play from KDS, especially their defense. That was really unmatched by Vatic. This play from Sands also just huge heads-up moment. Sands says, pass to me, but this is where it got messy and nearly could have actually been a highlight reel moment right there for Vatic, but they pulled it through in the end. Now, what's the big difference maker between these two squads? If you ask Mispu, I feel like this is just an outdraft for Vatic.
I think so. I mean, despite the fact that, yeah, it was, you know, strategically, I think Vatic had something that was a lot more sound. I saw KDS had quite a number of opportunities there. This meeple in particular, I think, really, really surprised me in a lot of places. They were, you know, just peeking around those walls up against this type of mid-range brawlers like Ems and Crow. I think there was a lot of opportunities there. Sans got, I think, a multiple hypercharges across those games, and I'm almost certain that if they were just, you know, committed to just focusing down Vatic, right, just get the kills first and then try to go for goals, that could have been the game plan. But instead, they seem to be really reliant on trying to coordinate like the super shots from maybe Bobby, and then Sans to get like a clutch gadget. You know, it almost felt like they're just trying to get that clip, the clip farming moment, rather than play the actual objective in the way standard Brawl Stars plays. But I don't know, I'm not a pro player. I can't judge these plays.
No, I definitely felt like there were some huge attempts at flashy moments right there, and we were rewarded for our patience. I just want to throw that out there because we got some awesome highlights out of that. But it's now time to slow things down and move to a mode that is untraditional. Untraditional in whether you've seen it before. I bet this is the first time you've ever seen excellent excavations, excuse me, a bit of a tongue twister right there. and especially treasure hunt, generally speaking. Now, let's explain the mode for anyone who doesn't understand how it works. You have these two zones on opposite sides of the map. Those are those little squares that you're looking at in the preview. If you stand on that zone for long enough, then a little treasure will spawn. Once your team picks it up, that gets added to your score for the remainder of the game. You don't drop it like in Gem Grab, and if you get to 10 first, then you win. There's no overtime, no nothing. Pierce is going to be the first selection from KDS. It's how they plan on keeping control of the zone for as long as possible, while also threatening control of the zone on the enemy side.
Once again, every time a broken brawler is let through, we have to immediately assume that these guys are pros. They know exactly the reason why they're doing it. In this case, from Vatic, perhaps they're not so much so valuing the sheer amount of damage that Pierce can bring to the table. It's a new brawler, but it's been around long enough that you guys should know that as sharpshooters go, this is one of the rare ones where, you know, he can function on a mid-range level as well and, you know, do a load of damage. Now, the thing about it is, Vatic though, they just answered with a standard Charlie thing. I'm not sure. You know, I mean, we saw EMEA just, you know, lead out with a lot of Meg stuff. Charlie, I don't know if it's considered to be overrated a little bit here. It's expected that there will be some steal plays going on. But yeah, Vatic, they're just going to double down here, go for two sort of control-based brawlers. You mentioned the circle thing from Finks. This is not really a circle, but it functions very similar to that circle mode called Hot Zone.
Yeah, I just want to like let y'all in on the joke here. One time in rehearsal, we were just like giving this unserious commentary, and Uber starts talking about all the circles on the map. And I don't remember who was up there with him, but they were like trying to like warm up for some serious commentary, and he would not stop talking about the circles.
Kenny.
So, oh, it was Kenny. Yeah, Kenny's like trying to get a real warm up, and Uber's like a big old circle. Lou, yep, he's got a circle. Buzz, he's got a circle around him. And yes, that is why Finks is a circle brawler. Now you all know the story behind the scenes. Okay, let's catch up with how this draft has transpired. KDS Esports go with the Rico this time. I'm seeing ample walls for Rico to bounce off of, especially these side lanes over here. It's going to mean that it's really challenging for anyone to stay behind that obstacle and stay away from the Rico. He's able to threaten both sides at once, basically. Buster, final selection from KDS. They're going to pair him up with one person on the zone, and he'll get his super for free to keep them nice and defended. Also, they just know that Buster is a great way of countering Rico, since you can throw up that shield whenever he supers.
Yep, I think they just haven't really... We haven't really seen Buster show up so far in Excellent Excavations. To be fair, our sample size of matches for this mode is like 6 or 5 matches. So we've only seen a super limited selection of drafts. So there's no space for us to really contemplate as to whether it makes sense, right? Now, Juju. Okay, so Vatic commit full on to control here, and they did, you know, sort of need a thrower. It's the best answer there to both this Rico and to the Buster. And there's an added feature on this map, right? That water in the mid, Juju can traverse that, and so it's gonna be super annoying for KDS to maintain control of their point. They're basically gonna have to be playing 2 versus, like, it's almost like it's like 4 versus 3, because this Juju's always gonna be in between, pinching onto both lanes. So KDS have to kind of pick a different sort of approach to deal with this.
It's gonna be pretty irritating to face that Juju. She can attack in 3 different styles depending on the terrain that she's standing on. So I'm looking at the possibility of her standing pretty far back and getting some long-range shots on anyone coming out of spawn. You also have the threat of her staying on top of the water and slowing you down. Bilal's gonna go for this lane pairing on the left side, and Sands is eviscerated. On the right side, however, KDS Esports is looking pretty strong. They should be able to... No, you gotta be kidding me! And that's what's special about this mode. You don't just get points like Hot Zone. Oh, no, 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 no. That's a pickup right there, and it was thieved by Ducky.
Another one gonna be going in. He's just gonna sacrifice for that. That's a huge amount of tempo swing that's gonna be over to Vatic. Already 5-1. But it's not for no compensation. KDS do get a nice miniature team wipe there. 2 out of 3 going to be going down here. Sadly, Sans, you're a control brawler. You're not a tank, so that star is still going to be conceded over there. These treasures are starting to rack up for Vatic. 6-2. It's a gigantic margin to come back from. And this is a mode where, similar to, you know, parallel plays in Hot Zone, if there's a little bit of asymmetry, it's too much. But Hypercharge from Ducky is going to be missed out there. Patchy's going to get a nice pick up there onto Bilal. This could be the beginning of a comeback, but it's still such a big margin to come up from.
KDS Esports, they're using the same lanes here, unless, okay, of course, they're going to put Patchy on the left side. Now prioritizing the right, they just got to have some kind of control. Patchy must know it's over. He's even standing completely still. Just one more treasure, it's all it's going to take, and KDS Esports know that they are absolutely fried. Sans is going to pick up a treasure, at least. Good for him, but Rafiki waiting for this last one to spawn will secure the game. And that's Vatic with 1 up over KDS here in their own selection.
That's brutal, right? I think that's one of the most brutal ways to win in a draft. That Juju last pick just came in, and as you mentioned, it's beyond, at this point it's beyond an annoyance, right? Like, I think what, 3 treasures in, which in game time is maybe 30 seconds. He had a Grigri online already. Like, that's kind of nuts, right? And it really broke the draft here. Well, Alda's even gonna go invisible and just go super aggressive there. And oh my god, it's basically a team wipe already.
Wow, that happened lightning fast from Vatic. They do have the advantage for now. It's really only by 1 treasure. Ooh, Ducky! Couldn't capitalize on it that time. Went for the cocoon, but Sans was already right on top of that treasure and stowed it away in KDS's coffers. But Vatic are ahead by the tempo lead. Ducky's going to be staying on top of the zone now. Does manage to avoid one of those shots from Bobby. Stays alive long enough to get Sans as well. But Bobby gets the treasure. On the left side, it's a lane victory for Rafiki with the assistance from Bilal, who emerges from the invisibility to claim a life on the right lane too.
Ducky's just a menace on this point. Just wow, getting that hypercharge there, cocooned on to the left. Continues to dodge up against Sans. Is Sans ever gonna hit him? No, I guess not. Ducky finally goes down to the super there from the Piers. But okay, we're already 6-3. Can I just point out that Rafiki's just been basically AFK on the left point the entire time, and Vatic's been playing catch this 2 versus 3. It's continuing here. Ducky's just continuing to dominate and showing why this Charlie Brawler is just so absurd in this mode. Sans finally gets him down here, tries to pop the hypercharge to bring down Rafiki, but guys, it's already 9-4. We might be down 2 sets here.
It's looking like that now. Sans knew that super was going to get slowed down by Rafiki super, so he decided not to even try. But once he knew that it was over, fired away anyway. The clown pin is up from Ducky, the substitute today on Vatic. And once more, these oinkers will take it. It's a set victory for Vatic, and KDS Esports are down 2.
A slow clap there from Livy, who's still probably trapped in the ice and watching the tournament on his hotspot. Yo, Livy, if you're in the chat, tell chat how you feel about Ducky standing in here, because this guy is tearing KD as a new one, right? Gotta say it how I see it. Oh my god. I mean, he doesn't even have that much damage, but I think it's just sheer dominance on that right side. And a big shout out, of course, to Bilal there playing support the entirety of the game. Yeah, if there is an outdraft that we can call, I mean, this has got to be it, right? Like, Bobby 1 and 8 there, getting just no value on that Piers. This was like an excellent bait, I think, from Vatic. Letting Piers go, getting KDS to pick it up, and then just cooking up this monstrous draft.
As Livy also in the chat saying that he's carrying, and that's actually him, not Ducky. Yeah, nice try, as Livy. We know that you're frozen in a block of ice right now. Also, Juan Carlos popping in the chat. What's up, Juan? And this would be a good moment for you guys in chat to share your opinions about what you think about Treasure Hunt, whether you think it can be a competitive mode, what you think would need to change for it to be a competitive mode, or whether it's right out, just never going to happen. We do want y'all's feedback. We are listening, and we're going to be looking at this after the Icebreaker is finished. But even just this match is not quite finished. Not just yet. Vatic could put that final nail in the coffin with a set victory on KDS's map selection, Case of the Mondays.
Gotta say, though, is it just me, or do all the present plunder maps have some kind of pun in them?
Some weird name.
Yeah, jump to conclusions. Case of the Mondays was the last one that we had. I think it was actually a fairly normal name, but I mean, these are memorable, right? I mean, I don't mind this compared to, I don't know what, Ring of Fire and what, Dueling Beetles. Okay, I'm not saying bad things about existing modes, right? But yeah, interesting naming scheme we've got going on here. But yeah, as Reddy said, if you guys have any feedback whatsoever now, especially on Present Plunder, because we haven't really gotten to see this too much, just put it out there. I'm seeing some comments inside chat saying that you guys are feeling that this could be one of the more competitive modes, and then immediately someone's clapping back and saying, please never do this. But this is exactly what we want to see. I mean, it's great stuff, guys. But let's zone in on the draft, Ready. Once again, KDS picks Meeple. Is this just because Sans wants to play it?
I get the feeling that it could be. Okay, we'll see if Patchy is willing to hand that over to Sans. Sans proved to be pretty threatening on it, loves that brawler a whole lot. And Ruff says, oh, you wanted to shoot through walls? What if they never existed? Because I decided I was going to break all of them up. And I also see the long game potential here for Ruffs. He could be a pretty solid defender. The bags are going to be really useful against this single shot brawler in Meeple, who also has pretty terrible reload speed. And he'll be able to power people up so that they can get nice and strong when it's time for them to make a big push for that present. Kaze is going to be the one creating the aggression. Now, we saw Crazy Raccoon use Kaze in Present Plunder, and I think it created quite a bit of aggression, but she also did die a lot.
Yeah, it was tense. It was on that
yeah, I didn't want to say it.
Our the goat of Brawl Stars, you know,
Right.
3-time world champion was on
The
it.
only
I
one.
mean, we don't want to. The only one, by the way, the only one, and he fed a lot on Present Plunder. He fed a lot on this Kaze. He was trying for a lot of dive plays, right, to be fair. He was creating space, as MOBA players would know what that means. You just dive to the back and force 2 players back to make sure. And that's what this mode is about. But bear in mind, you can't dash with the Present, okay? So it's not that broken, you know, you can't just do that. But dashing across the map, like more, this is stuff like the value of it. It's just you are creating that pressure of you could potentially steal it. And we've already seen, I want to call it like the hostage present exchange kind of mechanic, whereby if both teams trade presence of the zones, it now becomes a desperate attempt to just dive the enemy zone as quick as possible so you can make the timer of the present go down faster, and that's how you cap the point. It's an interesting mechanic. Once again, guys, let us know how you feel about that. But coming back to the draft, Shade and Amber, a brawler that we've not seen so far in a Present Plunder map. What do you think?
Yeah, give us your thoughts right now. And maybe give us your thoughts on what do you think of this last pick. Lumi from Vatic got a little bit tuned in that last set of balance changes. She'll be a little bit stronger. Should also be a pretty solid defender. Now, at range versus Amber, it's going to be pretty torturous for Amber. She's boasting pretty similar range to Lumi, and Lumi is able to make her slip forward, punish her for playing footsies at the edge of the range of her Morning Stars. So this could play kind of slowly for Vatic if they want to. I'm also looking at this Shade over here. I have a strong feeling that that's a Sans brawler right there, and I'm curious what he's going to be able to do with it if these walls get broken.
There's still a few unbreakable walls inside the back. One of the interesting feedbacks that we did receive is the fact that it appears that in a lot of the Present Plunder maps, at least in this tournament so far, the base is really, really easy to defend. So I think having a brawler like Shade that can just basically traverse through the walls with that super is kind of important. You need a sort of a battering ram, so to speak, to get in. In this case, it's Shade. And on the other hand, now we see a spawn trap starting to emerge. But, you know, as it was been noted, right, it's pretty easy to defend. Like, yeah, you can do all the stuff, but yeah, KDS is literally just so comfortable in the base right now.
Nice and safe and sound, isn't he? KDS turned this defense into a push with Patchy moving over to the right side. Knows that he has to stay away from Bilal, not his ideal matchup. On the left side, you'll also see that Ducky decided not to go for the bags because they're easily pierced by this Amber. An attempt at defense by Patchy versus Rafiki, who takes a beat to heal up just a little bit more. All the util now utilized. Rafiki just stayed behind the wall, let them waste all of their shots, and we're going to see Vatic run away with this present.
Sans could have potentially turned this into a trade, but he was just caught by the Grim and Frostbitten back inside the base, couldn't traverse through those walls. Bobby's gonna eat a big fat root there from Bilal, and now Rafiki is kind of showing up tensile a little bit here, getting that kill onto Sans, and immediately retreating back out, waiting for the rest of the team to come in, and there's already 2 buffs on this Ruffs online for Vatic. It's looking a little bit grim for KDS.
Just saw the teleport from Ruffs. What is he doing over there? Well, he's gotten Sans taken down, and he's creating the pressure to attempt at a kill on Bobby, who's defending this zone to the best of his ability. Bilal keeps on crunching and pinching in Patchy. We will see Ducky fall on offense, but it's okay. Bilal has the treat just like he needed. Ducky did sacrifice a treat for them. He's going to break these walls again. Sans immediately has to about face. He doesn't have anything to hide behind anymore. As this has developed, it's gotten pretty hairy for KDS. They've just lost their aggro in Sans, and on the left side, Patchy has gotten 1 kill, but that's all he's going to be rewarded with for his efforts.
Yeah, Bobby's a lone man standing, last man inside the enemy base. He's in no man's land. No teammates to back him up. Sans got a hypercharge at the very least. Ops to go for the teleporter. Now the hypercharge online. Going on to Bilal. Gets 1 kill. Ducky doesn't have the shots to basically bring him down there. Sans is trying to get a daylight robbery here. Rafiki's going to be the one to collect that. Patchy needs to desperately run back. Only got 7 seconds to claim this one. 5 seconds should be enough. He does get it there. Stolen the present at the brink of time there. Overtime has begun. The entire map torn open. It's going to be a pretty difficult one for KDS to play in this open map.
KDS are trying to slow this down as much as possible. They've only got 1 gadget use out of that for Meeple, and Rafiki has still gotten the present, but he couldn't dribble like he was hoping. Bilal now has to slow down this offense from KDS, and Vatic has the disadvantage. That's the teleport forward to recover that present, and Ducky's going to throw up that clown pin once more. Hey, man, he's substituted in. He's going to get the most out of this showing. 25 seconds left in regulation. Now, a bit of a blinding from Rafiki. Everyone from KDS has to back up. Rafiki now pushing in onto Sans. He's a dead man. The ammo has to be stretched thin by Patchy. An attempt at taking down Rafiki, and no, survives by just 50 HP. Should be enough time to bring this present home as the clock ticks down to just a few seconds remaining. Rafiki gets it, and Vatic are on match point.
Oh man, just 3 seconds was all it took. KDS just needed to delay for just 3 more. And the camera's done. But like, oh my god, they could have made it happen. I noticed something that's pretty interesting, right? There's a slight delay before, well, I'm literally just pixels right now. Hi guys, I'm still here.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
thanks for the FPS, bro.
Oh my god, yeah, I'm turning into pixels, guys. But imagine, right, if it was just, because the fact that it doesn't instantly register, like when the present drops, there's a little bit of a delay where it goes in the air and then it gets banked. KDS, if they just stalled it up for literally 3 seconds, that could have been the first tie we've seen in history for present plunder.
A tie would have been absolutely insane for this mode. It would have been, yes, the first time we'd ever seen it. What is the emergent strategy here? KDS Esports could be the second team to go down in a total sweep at the hands of a team that may have been regarded by some to be the underdog, actually. We'll see Vatic pushed back into their base. KDS Esports readying their approach. They have Shade in position. He doesn't have a super quite yet. Gonna pop that gadget for a bit of extra distance. Rafiki went for some fancy repositioning, but Sans is able to clap him to death, and now once more focus on offense. Bilal taken down, and Ducky breaking these walls. The unbreakables are still there, so Sans can utilize those, but he really wants to stay around the right side to create pressure. It's just not going well for Shade in this matchup in the lack of walls.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, at least he gets 1 super online here, but cheeky teleporter there. Patchy's gonna chase him. Okay, now he's inside the enemy base. He's in no man's land. Bilal and Ducky should be able to get this pinch down easily, but it's a little time that he bought there for the rest of the team, especially Sans to come back online. He's got this hypercharge. It's a pretty important one. Needs to get max value on this. Who's gonna be the target though? Could it be Ducky on that left side? He's been such a menace this entire game. No, looks to be looking for defense at the moment. Patchy is the one standing firm on his present, and it seems to be a little bit of an even split in positioning on both teams.
Rafiki's wasting some of the ammunition for Patchy, who needs to be pretty conservative about how he uses it, but Vatic have actually fallen all the way back. What's the big idea here? They've allowed KDS Esports to take up so much room that they didn't even have to earn. Maybe it was this! They wanted to punish Sans as soon as he used a hypercharge. That's pretty costly, but it's still a trade. It's not really a moment for Vatic to push in.
Oh yeah, Grim and Frostbitten is just such a hard counter to the Shade. If you're inside the walls, you get caught by that, you just can't move at all. And I think Sans didn't really realize that. Didn't learn his lesson from that first game. Perhaps he should be changing up his matchup, but it looks like so far we are headed straight to an overtime now. Bobby's in the back there, going to be trying to make some infiltration plays. We're seeing the entirety of Vatic go back there. It's a good stalling tactic, but now we head to overtime. The open map is there, and Ducky is the man of the hour. This completely open map is one that he's going to be so strong on.
Double hypercharges popped. Rafiki with all the speed in the world and the damage in close range. He gets rage quitted, but Rafiki makes a breakaway with the present, and they're going to get this slow walk home. The spins are out. KDS Esports, they're going to try to the last second, but their fate is sealed. Rafiki gets it, and Vatic eliminates KDS Esports 3-0.
Wow. North America. You guys really like sweeps, don't you? I mean, 2 semifinals have gone by in a lightning flash, and I've got to say, Vatic, this wasn't their map selection. and they look so confident on it. They understand sort of the little intricacies here, and maybe a little bit more that than KDS. I mean, I don't want to say it's a draft gap, but I do feel that, just Vatic just seems so much more comfortable in the team play in terms of just how they're executing this. Ducky especially. I mean, he's standing in for this team, as you mentioned. Is this Livy making calls in the background? What's going on?
As Livy did say that he was carrying this team, and look, if as Livy is sending chat messages, then as Livy clearly has some sort of internet connection, so maybe he's helping them draft. He was excited to play today by what he shared with us, so it's disappointing that we don't get to see him, but Ducky has been a worthy substitute and a player that Bilal and Rafiki have played with extensively over the years, wearing titles such as Team Oinkers and also Moto Mommy's FA more recently than that. Even competed in a monthly final with that team, if memory serves. Vatic, wow, what a squad. Really interesting. Didn't think we'd see these three compete in our invitational, but it has proven to be such an entertaining ride. Unfortunately for KDS Esports, these are fan favorite characters in North America, and they're really good in their own right. We didn't get to see them take a set win today, and it's been a pretty efficient one. I hope that our contenders put up a more extensive battle in the grand finals to come.
And we'll see that just really, really shortly. Vatic is going to advance 3-0 into the grand finals. But I got to say, I mean, Vatic did it cleaner, right? So, I mean, hey, in theory, there were more 2-0s here. So does that mean Vatic is the stronger team? As you mentioned, they seemed like a little bit of an underdog coming in because of this little stand-in situation. And, given the leaderboard placings from last year and stuff like that, if you're assuming that's still relevant. But it's a new year. 2026 has shown us anything. And as Livy, you've got a fantastic roster in your hands. I'm so excited for the rest of the year. But for the time being, it has been the second semifinal of the preseason invitational. We'll be back after a short break. We're going to be heading to the grand finals very shortly.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Preseason Icebreaker here in North America. It's the same two guys who've been taking the show all weekend. And little look ahead, we've even got more coming up after this beyond the grand finals. But Spoo, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on the grand final at hand. It's going to be STMN versus Vatic, and that is quite the matchup. But Spoo, before we jump ahead to that even, we have to reflect on how they're going to be facing each other, because it's pretty different from what people are used to in Brawl Stars.
This is for all of you guys who just tuned in. You just missed 2 of the fastest 3-0s we've ever seen. But that's what's happened, right? So this moment is a 4-team single elimination bracket. It's an invitational where we've invited teams based on leaderboards from last year. It's a best of 5 sets. We're already down to the grand final, so just populate that in your mind. It's a map pick system. We'll cover that later in the way exactly that it's done, but essentially 2 modes are selected from each team. It's an alternating order. The lower seed gets a little bit of advantage because we like them a bit more, and we're going to test that out. So we gave them the first pick. They get the pick from these set of wacky modes, and the tiebreaker is predetermined at the moment. It's set to hot zone. Now, finally, global ban, something that's been so requested because we've got, what, 99 brawlers in the game with global, and we're closing in on 100, and by the end of this year, it'll be like 120 or something. So more pans for competitive are needed. This is just one way that we've extended, we've explored it. There could be others in the future. If you guys have any comments whatsoever, we want to hear from you. Put it in the chat, put it everywhere. Complain to me on Twitter, just not my DMs because there's too many there. We want to hear from you.
We do want to hear your feedback. We covered the global bans, right? You select these right after your map picks. You get to ban a couple of brawlers for the whole match. And now, with these map picks in mind, with the global bans in mind, what did our 2 teams do? Before we can get into that, let's review how exactly they made it here. We had those really fast 3-0s. We've only been live for an hour and a half, and we're already to the grand finals. It was STMN versus Tribe Gaming, really quick 3-0, some inventive strategies. Juan Carlos on the Angela walking away with the present over water stood out to me. Vatic also really impressive versus KDS Esports. It beat KDS on their own map pick to make it to the grand finals. And now it's time for us to start talking about how that process went, Spoo. The map picks and the global bans are in.
We're going to kick things off with Vatic's pick. It's going to be excellent excavations, and we're starting to see some of the tactics surface in this type of a format for map picks. So the question that we ask players is, if you were given map picks, how would you use it strategically, right? Would you just constantly just pick the same map over and over again? Well, guess what? Vatic cooked on this map, right? Previously, in the previous one against KDS, they already destroyed them on this map, and now they're like, you know what? They got a bit of confidence. KDS picked that map, and they were like, hang on, we'll steal that, right? Like, we'll pick this for ourselves now, and then we'll bring it up, and it'll be leading with our first match, get that confidence in. And STMN, on the other hand, they also feel confident on the slippery slap, right? They got a chance to play Brawl Hockey earlier. It was on a different map, but they won that one pretty handily. So we can see how this is expressed. Now onto the global bans, though. Did they keep it the same, or did they change it because of the team?
Yeah, I'm curious about that one as well. Is it targeted? Yes, the Kaze being banned because that was something really annoying that Vatic was utilizing for Present Plunder in their most recent set that they played versus KDS, and of course won. Huge thanks to Kaze for that one. It's time to get it kicked off, everyone. Set number 1 draft is underway in our grand final for the Preseason Icebreaker North America.
Okay, look who's not banned. All right, ready. We've gone through this for 2 entire regions. She's got 100% win rate. She has to do with hairspray and just taking too many selfies. And she leaked through, right? Instead of that, we see double gray bans. So yesterday, a certain reply of totems did abuse gray to an obscene degree on Treasure Hunt, right? If you just put 2 portals on the 2 zones, then it becomes a little bit unserious because there's nothing you can do. But yeah, looks like your Angelo Merchant is gonna lead this one off, and he's letting M slip through. I mean, perhaps he's not the best on this map. I don't know. I have the impression that even if it's not that strong, it's something that you have to keep in mind for this draft.
I'm metaphorically grabbing Livy by the shoulders and shaking him back and forth and saying, you have literally 5 bans and you're still giving him Angelo. Is this going to be a moment like the World Finals where Juan Carlos is given the same brawler over and over? I'm looking at Hank. I'm looking at you, little prawn man, for being the number 1 brawler that Juan used and abused to get that victory over Zeta Division in the World Finals only a few months ago. But Vatic may just have a better plan. They've gotten Pierce for themselves. Now, I also want to point out, though, Pierce was not a winning strat on this map for STMN earlier. Or rather for KDS a long time ago. Bobby was on STMN.
Yeah, he went 1-8 on that map, but it was a different matchup, right? So it was Pierce leading out as first pick, and as a result, it was kind of pretty easy to just, you know, every other brawler, if you're first pick, you're always kind of getting hard counter. At the very least, I think he's got some matchup potential here against Angelo. Pierce just got released, so folks, I'm not that familiar with that matchup myself, but Vatic, at least you can see strategically where they're going with this. With this cult selection, it's obvious that they want to play for a little bit more wall break, and that's kind of just a pretty quintessential way to play it. Just tear open the whole map. Who cares about the structure of it? If we're playing an open map, we can force it. And whoa, that's a new brawler if I've seen one.
Yeah, GG Geeky? I don't know. I think we can decide how we want to pronounce her depending on whether she wins the match. Okay, if she loses, she's Geeky. If she's a win condition, then it's GG. Haha, I'm so funny. Now, the final selection from STMN, how are they going to round this out? How are you going to enable the GG? Because Gray was banned out on both sides. That's the message that says, please, please, nothing that teleports. And GG says, actually, I'm going to do that. Now, I think the strat is Spoo. They're going to use GG's ability to teleport in and then teleport back out to snag some treasure from the enemy.
That could be it. Yeah, that's actually really, really smart to think about. And I do think it's got pretty good matchups in general. You know, it's still an assassin, I reckon. I saw a little bit of gameplay for this. Haven't really gotten the chance to pilot this brawler too much myself, but I did see EMEA actually global ban GG. So it has to be somewhat of a consideration in certain comps, and I'm just kind of excited to see how STMN pull this one off. Vatic still have got one last pick in tow, though. And looking at STMN, there is a little bit... She made it through the whole pick and battle phase, and Vatic is like, is she still good? Yep, she's still good. Let's go for it.
I was definitely reading chat and seeing people say, how did M sneak through? And you know what? I got to side with you there. How on earth is she the final selection? Now, versus these brawlers, I can see why she wasn't like a top priority, because she is going to get outranged and she doesn't have all that much terrain to work with.
Oh yeah, she could get dived by the GG here as well, right? I mean, if she's bringing friend zoner, then she's got some protection, but Tacos could bait that out. And so, yeah, I mean, really exciting to see just how this is going to play out there. He's going to be charging up free supers just by dodging the M's. There's the friend zoner there from Ducky, showing just the prowess of this brawler. And now they're going to be starting to encroach on that left lane. They've already won their side. Now going to go over to Tacos, making another offense there, a stab there at the M's. No choice but to retreat, though.
STMN find themselves on the defensive. It's going to be a little wall break to make Juan Carlos even more powerful, and a bit of damage to make him even more powerful. But look at how Ducky weaves every one of his shots, except for, of course, the one that happens right after I brought your attention to it. Juan Carlos is going to be dispatched by Ducky. That hype star power is putting in a lot of work. Throw up the bunny pin, man. You deserve it. As a bit of control for Vatic on the left zone, the one closest to STMN. We're going to see that hypercharge out. Huge action from Tacos to create some room, but still, this control belongs to Vatic on the right. On the left lane, however, things are changing.
Yeah, Taco's managed to finally get a nice matchup there over on that left lane against the Colt. I think he prefers this matchup because it's so much easier to charge your super here if you can dodge out those attacks from that Colt. But that's going to allow Ducky to now have this excellent matchup against Pain on that right lane. It's pretty difficult, but yeah, that angle is going to be able to catch him there. Taco's going to be trying to continue to just go on to Bilal here. A little bit forceful of a movement that Pain's going to go down to that Pierce super. And it looks like Vatic are running away with this one.
Just no good for the Ruffs into the Pierce matchup. Pierce is going to have that super all the time, basically. Look at Ducky. He's eviscerating them, practically begging to have another second to just obliterate yet another enemy in his path. She is so strong right now, and just with the mechanical skills that Ducky has to offer, he is able to like weave in on those shots. I think they really need to keep Angelo away from this because Juan Carlos is able to land these shots, but he misses a single one versus a brawler like Ems that is going to take like 3 shots to take down for Angelo. Not really a great matchup. Pain has to take up that mantle instead. Once again, not a good matchup for him. He has bags equipped, which Ducky can fire right through. They were not ready for this Ems.
Oh yeah, it was last pick. It was allowed. Ducky did he just get to walk in and steal that one? That literally right from right under him. I mean, that's just so disrespectful. And guess what, guys? That might just be enough to win. But Tacos has some plans of his own. Unfortunately, the timing wasn't really good enough to get a steal there. It's going to be picked off by Bilal. But he is poisoned. It's going to be really low, but not enough to bring him down for the moment. Pain and Young Carlos are starting to just pinch in onto Ducky. But as you said, just brilliant dodges by him. And Rafiki is going to get an opportunity to make a steal there. Ducky, he's going to do it again. He's going to do it again, isn't he? He's never going to get away with this.
It's insane. How does he keep getting away with it? He has the dodges. I think that's really what it is. And look at the radius he's able to enforce. Well, Pain lights him up. That's one more from Juan Carlos. It did take a concerted team effort and some crazy marksmanship, but they did get the takedown. Rafiki, with so many bullets loaded up, was able to fire away into Angelo. Here's the hypercharge now. Look at those close groupings of bullets that he's depositing to Pain. Not enough to dispatch him for now. S-Team are all over this left side, but does it even matter at this point? Vatic are going to find themselves just one treasure away from victory. Ducky couldn't get the one on the home zone in time. Bilal gets the kill, but it's just a countdown until they get the final treasure and end this one off.
Vatic win on their own map selection. This is exactly what the map pick system was designed to see. They obviously had a better understanding of it, but honestly, I don't even know how to evaluate that because we're seeing so much experimentation. It's not even just the modes at this point. You know, these guys are playing around the comps as well. This is Gigi's debut, and in theory, it was supposed to be excellent against Rafiki, but it's exactly what we saw Rafiki avoiding him like the plague. And then meanwhile, on the other side, Ducky was allowed Ems. How did that happen?
I can't believe it. Here are the final moments also. You saw just a moment ago, Ducky getting destroyed by the combo of Ruffs and Angelo, but that was the one time they were able to hack it and make it right. But now we look at the stats, and this is almost a different story. Look at all the damage that Ducky did, but Bilal is pretty much the man behind the curtain. We've all watched The Wizard of Oz, right? He's the puppeteer behind all of this. He enforced at range 8-0 on the KD department.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it, right? Vatic's got 2 of the brawlers that were, so far, statistically speaking, banned for a large section of the entirety of the Icebreaker, right? I mean, in both regions that we've seen so far, including North America, it's rare to see it slip through. But Vatic got both of them, and, you know, they topped it off with a nice cult. They didn't even have to break up the whole map. They just literally diffed SDMN in just raw power, right? I mean... SDMN's Gigi, good idea, but just not good enough. They're gonna have to get a second wind here on Slippery Slap, though. This is their map selection, so we should expect Jan Carlos to be cooking on here.
What does Juan have in store for us? Angelo is open, but I feel like he has learned his lesson. That is not gonna work here.
Do we
Yes,
notice
Boom?
something? Yes, ready? She's not banned again.
Yeah. I wanted to let you have it though. I thought maybe you'd like let out a screech of horror or something, but no, it's just a plain old, oh, yeah. Noticing that they didn't ban Ems again, okay, and Vatic left it open. Oh, goodness. When will you learn from your mistakes, STMN? Their pattern-seeking brains, are they offline, or do they just believe that they can beat the Ems?
I want to see it happen, right? In all honesty, I've glazed DM so much, and to me, it's a menace, right? Like, we've had these types of situations where brawlers are just such overtuned states that it just warps the whole meta around it. And, you know, in EMEA, we saw it banned throughout the entire time, and for good reason. STMN, though. Okay, maybe they've got something cooking. They're gonna kick things off with the Lumi. I like this. I think it's a good idea at the very least. Grim and Frostbitten is always gonna be a big threat in a mode like this because you can manipulate movement and then create some scoring opportunities. And matchups wise against the Ems, it's not bad, right? It's mid range. It does compete with her. She's got the damage to deal with it. It's decent so long as the walls are opened up.
Okay, well, Spike also could benefit from some walls being opened up. I feel like Spike, for a long time, has been an all-rounder, able to get around some of those walls, enforce some pressure with curveball if things are wide open, but also can clip those shots around walls if that's not the case and nail a ton of damage with direct hits on those spiky cactus balls. Now, Vatic, the response to this spike, I don't know if they need to be too worried about it. The only thing that they ought to stray away from is anything that tries to block with a spawnable, because Lumi's going to have that pretty covered. Any sort of tank also might be a difficult one. An assassin can get that aggression for them without having to have a torturous matchup versus Lumi at range.
Oh yeah, and now this gray is going to be coming in. This is not something that is new. East Asia was the first to do this, and they were the first region to explore this. Not very successful, I believe. It was just good for the movement to just kind of just compete for the puck and try to get some trick shots in. So it looks like, okay, the structure of Vatic, they've scaled back a little bit. You've got like some mobility here in the form of this gray. You've got this long range thing with the bell, and then you've got the broken Ems. How do STMN, rally this comp together and, tie it together to stop this, Goliath of a brawler that Vatic have brought?
It's a tough call, really. I think when we saw Belle here earlier, she proved not to be like that much of a winner is all. It was into a composition that thrived around staying close together. And I'm not really seeing that from STMN. They don't really gather any benefit from staying close together. They want to spread themselves out. So Belle's just going to, maybe mark up the Melody. And Melody will probably be throwing herself at the enemy anyway. But she does have 3 supers, and that's really the big thing. This is what stood out to me in East Asia, is the prioritization on aggressive brawlers that had quick super cycling or numerous supers to speak of. So Melody was one of them. We saw Night Shu on the Daryl was another one that just blew us away. We're going to be getting into it. It is set number 2, STMN versus Vatic here in the grand finals.
He's going to kick things off inside the mid. Grim and Frostbitten is going to force the entirety of Vatic back and allow Taco Eater to just kick first control of this puck. He's not going to be able to throw it anywhere at the moment, just chucking it into the corner, relinquish control for it just very briefly and allow himself to aggress forward. Now, he gets his first super of the game. Who's the target? It's going to be Ducky that's going to be the first one to fall. Payne has the puck. He's going to try to make a beeline pass. Not going to get it in. Bilal is just way too strong. Can't break through the Ems.
Ducky with the pass backwards. That's one of the difficult things about Brawl Hockey. You have to use a lot of ammunition just getting the puck away because you can't comfortably place it in a single position. Here comes Tacos, aggressive versus Rafiki, who didn't have any defensive capabilities in close range. That's going to cost him in that matchup. Interesting attempt at a goal there on the right side. We'll see a good hook for Ducky on the left side. STMN finds himself one man down. They slowly retreat and cover the retreat as they fall back. With Tacos rejoining the fray, they're able to stand here and play for control just for 1 kill. That's all they need, and then they can move in.
Yeah, 2 Hypercharge going to be committed here. 1 from the spike, and Tacos Eater going in the back line. But Ducky, with a nice clean play there, manages to steal the puck from right underneath them, then reposition it with a south pass, and immediately it's an open goal. Puck control is so important, STM, and they just can't let that one go.
Just the prioritization of movement and positioning in this game mode has been absolutely crucial to success. Taco's going to go for it again. That's a dribble forward. He's got one more super at his disposal. Tries to hit the shot. No. Doesn't even get released. Must have been out of ammunition. We're going to see the super down from Juan Carlos. I have to wonder whether that was really intentional. We see Payne also with a super that amounts to basically nothing. Utility by STMN has been seriously wasted in this moment. Oh, that was a little hairy.
Oh my god, the PTSD that I just saw from there. Just, Bilal primed the portal for half a second, and immediately we saw both Juan Carlos and Taco just commit every single shot into a portal, and then he's like, whoops, I didn't even step in. Just wasted so much time. And then immediately after that, then Ducky committed on the other side. Just excellent mind games there from Vatic, and they're running away with this one. 10 seconds left on the clock. Bilal is the last man standing. He's gonna just hold on to this thing, pop his hypercharge, chuck it away. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. There's no way you break through the M's, and there's no way you stop me.
Now, M's, my goodness, she's so strong at the moment that she's unstoppable. And for her to be left open and then first picked as well, we're just seeing repeats over and over. I made a call out that Angelo might be the repeat selection of STMN, and it turns out that the main character of this one is the M's for Vatic. 2 times in a row, and she's been a win condition both occurrences.
Oh yeah, now we're gonna watch it from the monster's perspective, just to see just how strong it is, really. But Bilal is the star, right? I mean, he's the center of the map at the moment, and I'm seeing that. And right now, you know, oh, what?
Oh, that was quick.
What? Wait, that wasn't even a shot. That was like a random bounce that just happened to go in, right?
I guess so. Okay, that's a little strange right there. Taco's now with the move forward, pass up to Ducky, over to the left side, not quite a... What? How did he manage to get that in? That's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my god, this is exactly why Gray in this mode is just so tricky to play up against, right? Taco's wanted to make a play, and then Ducky's like, nope, I got this play done. That being said, though, huge aggressive coming out here from STMN. Payne is aggressing forward, managing to, you know, pick away at Bilal here, but he's still pretty comfortable holding onto that super there. He's just gonna pop it just to force the defense, but Payne manages to get him down there. Rafiki with a pinch, though. Tacos is the one he gotta look at, but drops it on the point. Okay, Juan Carlos barely's got enough beef in him to walk it in with that puck. Now 2-1.
STMN could keep this set under control if they just maintain the lead, but it's not going to be made easy for them. Ducky's already got 2 shots. He needs 2 more, I believe, to get his super, and Taco's staying just out of range. The super for Ducky has been ridiculously deadly. If they're able to take advantage of a puck just out of position, then Ducky can TP on it easy. 1 shot is all he needed. He'll teleport forward once again, looks for the angle. Is it good? No. Bounces back around into mid, but at least Bilal can pick it up. He's got the buffy, he's got the hypercharge, he has everything in his toolkit that he needs. Staying back also, it's going to be a blast away on the Tacos. He was forced to use it in an inopportune situation, and it's going to be ultimately a whiff for Bilal on what would ordinarily be a goal score.
Yeah, but it's a big aggressive for them. Nonetheless, they can indeed get this walking cane, almost connecting it over there. It's just Juan Carlos left to defend it. Rafiki should be able to shove this one and passes over to his teammates. Great coordination there. A very simple pass, but it's good enough to get the job done. Now 2-2, and they're headed into overtime. Which team has the advantage here?
The advantage goes to whoever gets that puck, and it looks like it belongs to STMN. They're going to throw it away, though. Little bounce back. Tacos ready for his opening. These walls are going to break down. Everyone's pretty slow. Bullet from midfield from STMN to keep the set alive.
Brilliant setup there from Juan Carlos as well. You know, just 2 seconds before the overtime kicked in. Blurry Spoo is back, but like 2 seconds before it kicks in, throws the nice big circle, bigger than my face, inside the middle of the map, and there's no way they can stop it, right? Then split second later, they had this puck in their hands. The super shot was just fast enough to get through. Excellent, excellent execution from STMN.
STMN, they're back on the home side. We're going to be spectating from their perspective. Seems that the opposite side wins so far. I'm just noticing that is all. Ooh, what an excellent goal blocked by Ducky. It'll be passed ultimately over to Juan Carlos, intercepted by Rafiki. What a rally that we've seen so far. But now with Tacos in the spawn, it's just impossible to catch up. Ducky falls, and it's goal number 1 for STMN.
Tacos being inside the spawn has got to be, you know, just one of the most insulting things ever as a Melody. But Jamel, you can, that's one way to break an M. Just shove it so hard into her face, just inside the goal and then beat her with impunity. Oh my god, no! No! Tacos, why? You just ate Young Carlos a super.
Not ideal. Ducky almost had it. The pass forward and the teleport to the destination of the puck. Is that enough, however? No. Rafiki will be falling. That's a bank shot. Interception by Juan Carlos. A pass once more. A little tip off to the left side. Tacos is looking for his opportunity. Gonna even heal up to full health to get the most out of this Hypercharge and Super. Hypercharge popped on the right side by Ducky. An attempt at defense. Bilal stays alive with the invulnerability, and this puck is out of there. No block from STMN. That would have been their moment, but they didn't want to commit too hard on abilities, and it ended up costing them a potential goal.
Good defense from them. Taco's going to be just throwing the puck back inside the spawn there. Could be a potential defensive exploration that they do. Payne's going to trade out there with Ducky. Tried to go for a play, but just kind of got pinched out there. Not even a DPS. The puck's going to be cornered for the moment. But Bilal is the one that's going on a rampage there. But Tacos is trying to find the interception. Gets pushed back there by Bilal. The shot goes through. He's going to try to find the clear her. They need to clear this one away from Ducky. Almost gets it in. Payne manages to get the clear. Okay, STMN are safe for the time being.
It's enough time for them to respawn. Tacos can even get in close range. Going to attempt to circumnavigate Bilal, but it's no good. Bilal is going to get a bit of invincibility every single time he supers thanks to that star Buffy. 10 seconds to go. Who has possession of the puck is ultimately the deciding factor. Ducky with a pass forward and the goal. 5 seconds to go, and STMN can only bear witness to this overtime as they almost had the goal.
We're going into overtime. Payne leads it out very, very strongly with a Hypercharge. Not going to connect, though, but it's enough the zone for Young Carlos to get the shot in. These overtimes could be 10 seconds long, but I'm all for it. STMN have put one set 1-1. No more 3-0s for UNA.
Nope, denied. Here's this nice clean one from Ducky, just narrowly missed also by STMN. It's so difficult to get in the way of that puck when it moves so quickly, even when it's been so long since it was fired. And here was, what, was it messy? Was it just crazy teamwork that we saw? Bilal almost blocked this one. In the end, it was only Ducky remaining, and STMN managed to get that goal. This was pretty impressive. Also, Ducky with the TP forward for an attempt at a goal. Payne blocked it and sent it all the way down the field. But this was the final one. Ducky sending us to overtime with that teleport forward Hypercharge style. And then we saw the final goal scored by STMN. Having the puck in your possession is really all you need. It travels so quickly, and that goal is so large that you can't block it all.
Yeah, I mean, if that goal was a little bit smaller, then that would change things a little bit here. There's a lot of things about this mode that are contentious there, but for sure, I mean, just looking at the stats, right? Bilal was a monster, okay? 15-5 on the KD, no doubt, but it's an Ems that we're talking about here. They're all monsters, and it was really Tacos for me that stood out there, and overall, just as a team.
Well, it's time for us to get into our next draft. Tied up 1-1, we're guaranteed going to a set 4, already closer than any match that we've seen today. And I would say that it's pretty fitting for our two teams that administered those 3-0s in the semifinals. First selection out here is going to be Juan Carlos picking up this Pierce. And also, let's revisit basketball because we haven't seen it all that much today, but it has been super entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it's the first that scores to 5 points, and there's two mechanics that you can score from. A simple layup within the circle is going to get you 2, and if you do a 3-pointer from outside, whether from the rims or with a super shot, you get 3 points. So effectively, there's a lot of ways that you can win. Now, brawlers that are good on this map, contentious to say the least. We've only seen Ball Hog yesterday, and today we saw a triple-double, I think it's another map. But the sentiment from players is that because it's a smaller map, right? So smaller map means what? It means movement speed brawlers are really good, tanks are really, really good, and control brawlers, such as Pierce, for example, actually are not that strong. So I'm very surprised to see STMN bring it up here.
Yeah, well, in Vatic, they've picked the sniper that's pretty much been the go-to for anyone playing on basketball, and especially Ball Hog so far. I get the feeling that we actually didn't see a basketball map besides Ball Hog yesterday, and B just kept on making appearance after appearance there. Now, when I see this max, I have to start scratching my head and wondering, what is going to be paired up with it. Because it's not the B, okay? The B is not the thing that drives all that much strength from it. Vatic went ahead and got rid of the M's that they had used to great success in the past couple of sets, so at least we'll be seeing a difference in that department. Now for STMN, they're sticking to their guns with this Melody pick. It's been a favorite just of this team in general, and the idea here is to use the amount of supers that she can stack to not just move the ball down the field while dribbling, but have a super when you get to the three-point line so you can score a three.
Pretty surprised here by Vadic's last pick selection here. Once again, just not really using the Max as support and relying Max to be the core centerpiece aggro on the team. I guess they looked at the roughs and thought to themselves, okay, if this guy plays sandbags, we're kind of cooked. We don't have anything to break that apart. And if it's going to be a control versus control matchup, we do need something. Now, something we haven't seen, I believe, in basketball just yet is overtime. Right?
Yeah.
So far, the matches have gone so lightning fast because of just tank-based gameplay. This might be the first time that we're going to be seeing perhaps a slower paced game. But I don't know. Maybe the nature of the mode just makes it fast by design.
Well, you know, we can theory craft all day. We invite you guys in chat to do the same. We want to know your thoughts and get some conversation going about what your expectations are for this set of basketball, and also to touch base and get your thoughts after the set has completed. See if you have any new ideas or thoughts on whether this mode could be in competitive. So far, Vatic is making a competitive defensive approach, but STMN has proven too strong. They're running with this death ball, fast-paced, and unlimited damage approach that Vatic can't seem to keep pace with.
Correction, it's actually Vatic that's gonna get it. I believe Ducky's on Vatic. Second layup gonna be going in there 4-0. It's a really fast one for Vatic. I've got to say, this is their map selection, so no doubt that they are the ones that are a little bit more used to this. But that said, though, once again, Bilal is the one now with the speed. Ducky is just doing so much. Bilal looking for the... Yep, Tacos. Wait, Tacos gave up, but he missed the shot. It could potentially be a comeback for STMN.
STMN gradually creeping forward, but they're going to have to back away from this hypercharge miss to get both Juan Carlos and Payne at the same time, and they'll both fall. It's a good defense for Vatic, but they won't be able to really make anything of it because that ball is so secured on STMN's side.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot to be in, but they do have to, claw this back. It's 4 points that they're under, but they are not out just yet. Taco Eater gonna be going in there. Tacos is gonna try to get one. Manages to get one kill. The rest of the team is just so low. Ducky almost going down there. Great dodges from him at max speed. He's gonna be going down to Juan Carlos, but that could have been a goal for STMN.
Hypercharge now popped. Tacos ready to receive that hypercharge and now just needs a couple of shots to get his super. That's the final one that he needed. And with only 2 members strong, he knows that it's time, but he hasn't even popped his hypercharge. Now it comes. He's not going to be using all of those hypercharge notes, but at least he can create some chaos. Rafiki's trying to do everything he can with that respawn shield, but he didn't have the ammo, and it's a goal for Juan Carlos.
4-2, they need another one to tie it up. And it's going to be coming down to a big three-pointer here. Melody gets up the ball. Ball control is good. He might go down here to Ducky most likely, but he manages to pass it over to Juan Carlos. And you can see, yeah, he's lining up. Goes for the three-pointer. Nails this one. STMN snatched back the set. They were down by 2 entire points. And all the crucial shot, crucial mistake from Bilal. He's going to be beating himself up there one for sure.
That's pretty rough right there. Oh, man. Well, at least it's pretty tied up so far, so anything could really happen at this point. We're going to get back into it. STMN up 1 game here in set number 3 and see if they're able to keep up this pace. That was pretty dismal for Vatic in those final moments, I got to add.
Oh, yeah. They were up against the wall, and I love the comeback there. I mean, Tacos literally gave up, right? He saw the ball going, and he was like, yep, it's over. And then it wasn't. And is that fair? Like, is basketball something that should be decided by the skill of the hoops? Let us know, right? I mean, we've heard a lot of mixed feelings about this so far. But, okay, into this game, though. So far, it's just a lot of trades going on. That basketball in the middle literally hasn't moved so far. I am seeing Ducky kind of slow down a little bit on this Max here. He seems to be taking quite a lot of hits from that Pierce. It's just really dominant so far. So many shots there from Juan Carlos. Another one, nice one, max range distance. But the ball is currently being protected by Rafiki. Passed over to Payne. The layup can be cut. No. I am speechless.
A whiff. This one bounces off the rim, and Vatic are practically given a free defense. That's going to happen from time to time, but this was STMN's moment to get ahead. Now they find themselves at the same score. Ducky, with all the speed in the world, wanted to press in. He'll get one, looks for two. The phase shifter forward. It's good. Outside of the paint, a little hasty, and was just inside the three-point line for that one. It's only going to put them ahead by 2 points.
Yeah, it's gonna sting a little bit, but it's still a point on the board. Vatic immediately pressed all the purple buttons in existence, and there's nowhere to run, right? The Amber Super literally covers the whole court at the very least. Last shot there from Pierce was managed to secure it, but I was like, do I get the ball? Okay, I can't throw out.
He could have.
Retreat.
No, it's so tragic.
Retreat. It's tragic indeed.
Well, at least they'll find themselves all alive on defense. Bilal didn't risk his life, and he knows that he'll be equipped for an attempt at a push in. He gets one, looks for two, needs to hit a couple shots onto Payne through these bags. Ducky's done his part of the team fight, and here comes Rafiki to blast through all of those sandbags like they were never even there. Now, another attempt at burning someone up, not going to get it. Meanwhile, Taco's making a breakaway solo. He doesn't really have the tankiness to make it through and survive on the right side, but it was a worthy effort. I feel like STMN absolutely had enough time to make a concerted team push, but they opted to not do that.
And we gotta say it, right? I mean, Payne whiffed the easiest two-pointer.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it wasn't easy. It was under a lot of pressure, okay? It was under.
He's
got all of you guys watching, guys. Like, he's got the two of us watching. He's got my pixels watching as well. I mean,
all three of them.
fiber of my being, all three of them, right? There's literally 3 pixels on the screen for me right now. But like, yeah, quite literally, right? I mean, so both teams, like Bilal messed up once, Payne messed up once. Maybe it was out of sympathy, but that's gonna tie up the set, and that's a midpoint for us, right? So 50-50 could go either way at this point.
Okay. Vatic, what do you have in store for us this time? Could it be another one? That's Tacos with nothing but net. 2 points right off the bat for STMN. It puts them within reach of a 1-score game. A 3-pointer would bring them on to set number 4 with 2 sets under their belt so far. We're going to see Tacos attempting to circle from the bottom. Really wants to just heal up some HP. Same goes for Payne. Ducky doesn't have enough HP in his stores to engage further anyway. Team fight is going to be back with Bilal and Rafiki respawning. And Ducky still just looking for that super. He's getting nailed by Payne at range. He's backed up as much as he can. Through all those sandbags, still no issue. Hypercharge treat down on the ground, but no one is within reach.
Ducky's really low. Rafiki is the first one to drop here. Tacos now on that bottom right-hand corner. The corners are so important there because it's an opportunity. Okay, the goal is going to be leaving now. Tacos is going to be just sending the ball back to Pierce. They could opt to play defense here. Now threatening it once again, but this is its indecisiveness. It's causing STMN a little bit of trouble. Yes, they would have controlled the ball there, but now they just conceded it, and it's going to be a big push coming out there from Vatic. Triple, double hypercharges. Just throw the whole kitchen sink for it. Rafiki's got a hypercharge to his name as well. He's saving it for the moment. Doesn't even need it. Ducky, he's trying to get the... Oh my god. Oh my god. He's greedy. He's greedy. He wanted the three-pointer, and he's going to be punished for it.
Won't even be a tied game now. Now that really hurts. Risked it all. Went for the extra point, but they might be able to get it in the end. A pass forward to Rafiki. No, Bilal could have gotten a goal there if he just hung onto the ball and used his super. Oh, it hurts to watch from Vatic. They have these opportunities and have thrown them away 2 times in a row. They need to make one more shot at this. They have the speed. They have Bilal ready with the slow. It's got to be Juan Carlos taken down. That's a B. And Ducky, a pass over to Bilal. Gonna wait for it. Gonna wait for it. No, went for the 2 to tie things up. Look, just made it safe this time. We're gonna be going to OT.
It could go either way in OT. Will the hits more shots basically wins, but Rafiki spams the auto aim, goes down, gets the burn on to Juan Carlos in the mid, but it's Tacos that's taking a breakaway play. Managing to almost get the kill there. It's Bilal against the wall. It's gonna be able to get Payne in 2 shots. It does nail him. Nails him straight. Okay, now we've got a tie game. Vatic immediately rushed back to the mid. The ball has landed smack in the center. Both teams staying a mile away from it.
Bilal can redeem himself here. He just needs to get some huge action in OT. And the map has opened up for him to do so. I think Ducky's got to be close to a super also because he pumped that hypercharge earlier, probably in anticipation of getting a super with additional damage. Now has a speed onto Rafiki. Everything's speeding up. Tacos, no! Passes it right to Amber. That was a perfect thing to do because he was about to fall. Ducky passes it forward, could have passed it to Bilal instead to get that goal. Now it's safely in the clutches of STMN. 15 seconds to go. Otherwise, this one's going to be a tied game. 10 seconds now.
Could be a tied game. Last push going to be coming out here from STMN. It's going to start off with Pain getting a kill, and that's why Ducky, he's on the point there. Goes back, tries to corner the ball. The slow, the three-pointer. Is this going to be a buzzer beater bounce? It's still in the air. It's still in the air. It's not going to go in. Okay. Ready? We can confirm buzzer beaters were implemented, apparently.
Must have been part of the maintenance, man. Must have been part of like everything that happened. So curious that we saw things end earlier. My goodness. Now, that was just absolutely insane right there. We're going to be getting right back into it. Game number 4. I cannot believe we just witnessed a tie with that ball bouncing off the rim several times. Now, that is basketball.
That is the ideal basketball game I think that you want to see at that level. But oh my god, we still got a game to cast ready. Welcome to game number 4 of STMN versus Vatic. It's been cinema so far. But it looks like both teams have slowed down a little bit, right? Now it's back to control here. No one's making big plays from the very get-go. No immediate goal scored just yet, but it looks like STMN are the ones in control at.
Vatic have this ball right where they want it. And Juan Carlos is trying to circle around in anticipation of a push-in from Ducky, who keeps on switching his lane. He's fallen back now also to recover some HP. Vatic find themselves pretty crunched into the top right of the map. Now they have the speed to expand outwards, manifest destiny all the way to the west coast, but they need to get this ball passed to a worthy goal scorer. Ducky would have loved to block some of those shots with his body. I don't think he wanted to block that one though. Pain, the long shot to the top side, creates some momentum for STMN.
He's going to be throwing his life away there. Got caught by the burn. No way to survive that one. Ducky's back online, but the ball is pucked nicely with STMN. And Pierce, the enforcer, going to be protecting it with his life. But Rafiki is the one. There's no way you dodge this Amber, Superman. Map's too small for that. Going to take the burn there. Massive damage going to be going in there. And nice defense trying to come out there from STMN. This is a completely open goal. Ducky, you got one job. This time, gets it done.
2 points up for Vatic. They had it just where they needed it. Hypercharge now. Vatic are creating the control, completely crushing, pressing STMN into the left side. And Juan Carlos is only hanging on by a thread. The super is not enough to save him. Super, is this the dagger? Yes, it is! Vatic score 3 to finish off this set and put themselves in the driver's seat in set 4.
Redemption there from Vatic. It was a scrappy, entertaining, cinema-worthy back and forth. I think this was the best that we've seen from basketball so far. And it was an amazing one. I mean, there was honestly speaking, what made it great was the fact that there was just so much back and forth going on, and there were honestly imperfections. I gotta say, I mean, this hoop mechanic is contentious, and I don't know what to think about it. But the fact that, imagine, STMN should have won the first game if, you know, the ball just went in. Sorry, Vatic should have just won it outright. But then because that there was a little miss, and then STMN got to come back, then we got to see the entirety of the series play out.
Gosh, I can't wait to see some of the stats here, because this was a ridiculously scrappy set. It's, I think, the only series that we've seen go to... Oh my gosh, watch this. Yeah, that'll keep you on the edge of your seat right there. The stats over here. Of course, after 4 games, you're going to see something completely absurd. 200,000 damage from Juan Carlos. He's called Brawler over here. And only healed 30,000 HP along the way. You know that this man was just constantly shooting without any cessation.
Rafiki, though, 265,000. 26 kills to his name and 18 deaths. You know this game was a bloodbath, and it was a back and forth one at that. Once again, guys, I mean, we've echoed this so many times, and I think I've peppered in a little bit of my bias at this point, but this Amber pick, I wasn't convinced, right? At first I saw it and I thought to myself, I prefer a tank. But then I saw that hypercharge. It covers the whole map.
Yeah.
There's no way. You can't do. There's just no counterplay to that. And Vatic, they spotted it, they exploited it, and this is exactly what we wanted to see. The best teams in the world try the best to show why some of these modes are a little bit busted and some of the things that maybe are a bit unfair. But this is STMN's map. So far, wonderful thing, right? We've seen both teams win on each other's maps. This time, STMN, they don't get the immediate Angelo selection. Now, folks, I know you're just waiting for the bans to come in.
The Phantom.
That's why. Because Vatic banned it.
Yes, unfortunate that STMN wouldn't get the chance to bring open that M's themselves. Look also at the Buffy brawlers that have been removed. One of them is Frank, of course, in the global bans, but you see Colt out of the mix. Same goes for Spike. M's just not even a consideration at all. Here on Jump to Conclusions. And don't, you know, do what the map name says and assume that there's not a jump pad going to the enemy side. There is. It's just invisible right now. It's inside of a lollipop drop or like a sandy super or something when we, you know, took the screenshot from overhead.
I've got deja vu. I feel like I'm in a time loop, and honestly, we might just be. And this is map. I mean, bear in mind, guys, this is map selections, and there are 3 maps that teams can pick from, and looks like the more popular present plunder maps looks like it seems to be Jump to Conclusion so far. But let's just break down the picks real quick. Okay, so we've got this Pierce that has shown up for STMN. Young Carlos played it just excellently previously, got so much damage as you mentioned, and with his wonderful, I mean, his favorite Angelo banned out, I think just defaults to the next best sharpshooter available, and for the moment, it's going to be Pierce. On the other side of Vatic, though, right? Ruffs and Stu. We've seen a lot of Stu so far here on Jump to Conclusions. We haven't seen Ruffs just yet, and okay.
All right.
Guess what? Water walking brawlers. Am I right?
Well, okay.
Technically, she actually swims in the water. She doesn't float over it like RT and Angelo.
And Eve, I guess. There are probably like other ones that aren't coming to mind immediately. But yeah, and she'll also completely change her attack style once she's inside of those bushes and in the water. She'll be able to jump on you instead. And jumping is always such a wonderful way to attack, especially when your attack is so fast as allies, because you are invincible during that attack. We'll see STMN now pick up the BB. This is the Bruiser Brawler with the bubblegum in tow. And she'll just have so much HP to pretty much walk forward, but she doesn't have movement abilities. That's the huge hazard with selecting her. So Vatic can totally farm her. They can just keep the distance with Stu if they really want, but Stu is going to be lacking on the DPS that could shut her down.
I like this. I like this from STM, and it answers to the 2 out of 3 of the brawlers from Vatic and forces Vatic to choose who they want to answer in the last. Because Ali, you know, Ali and BB, is there really a common counter to it? Shade? I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't really know if it's the best answer to it in this case. There's a lot of interactions that can play out in this way. But Shade is another water walking brawler, and what do you know? I guess it's really important here in Jump to Conclusions, as Young Carlos has displayed. So this is gonna be a scrappy one for sure. I am favoring STMN's one just a little bit more, and I'm hoping that they bring it back, because then North America could potentially see their first set 5 as well. Folks, this is the grand finals. It's map number 4. STMN are leading. They're gonna need your help for this one. I hope that you're gonna give your support here. Vatic, on the other hand, they're gonna be looking to close this one out.
Oh, yes. STMN needs your help. STMN is trapped in this present plunder map, and they need your help. All they need is your mom's credit card number and the funny numbers on the back. No, in all seriousness, the draft is where they're going to have to derive their strength. And I'm seeing some ideas that I like here. The one thing that concerns me is there's just no wall break capability. It was all basically banned out. And Rafiki's just going to have a wonderful time as a result.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was the last pick after all, and Seba's definitely cooked here to, you know, bring this pick in the last pick. He's already got his hypercharge online. That's really, really fast. And Vatic are now closing in on that bait. Pain, though, not really feeling too happy with it. Rafika's gonna pop the hypercharge, get inside the walls, and it's gonna be able to bring down Johan Carlos, and that's a clean extraction from them. It's just one alley inside the base to try and stop this one, but too bad. No way to stop it. No tempo gain from you. Just a clean, clinical extraction from Vatic.
Vatic, with that one present extracted, could opt to only play defense, but a lot of times The best defense is a good offense, and they are not relenting on any measure. Rafiki going to just play this game, sit inside the wall, say, you can't hit me, you can't. Oh, wait, oops. Mutually assured destruction on the left side as Antimatter and Matter cancel each other out. Of course, they will be respawning in just a second here, and we'll see the momentum crank up just a little bit more. Something also to note is that Present has been positioned just on the perimeter of that zone, which should make it a little bit easier for S-Teamen to reach. They're going to have to send Pain as their tribute to move forward, however. That or Tacos, he would love to switch over to the other lane to get that Present away with him. But he's being held back by this boosted up Bilal, and we'll also see Stu snag the Present on the right.
Yeah, Pain's gonna be the last man standing trying to defend it here, but Ducky's just gonna have a very clean and peaceful time. Throws out the rabbit. He knows there's no way to stop this one. He could dash to BM. Okay, Ducky.
All right.
Ducky. Let it go. Drop the Present and the misery. STM now on match point.
There's a reason that they say you're lucky. There's no Ducky. He has been putting on a total clinic today, and this is just one example of that. One more point is all it's going to take for us to see these guys win the preseason icebreaker here in North America. Can STMN fire back? Vatic, they're not even playing on their own map. They're playing on STMN's map selection.
Huge aggression coming out from them. They're making a desperate push here. Pain's gonna drop there to Ducky though. Just a star here. The replacement player as Livy, but just doing so well. Young Carlos is playing 1 versus 3 at the moment. Almost got the job done. Tacos though, really jumping in there as the alley trying to get some stuff done here, but Rafiki just swats him down. This alley just not really working in his favor. And Pain is just staring at a blank wall. Not sure which matchup he should be going for.
Just making a read before he comes out of the gates. Pain with a little knockback on Rafiki. Might even be saying, hey, thanks for the boost, buddy. Now I've taken you down, and I'm in your zone. That was certainly an attempt from the Tacos to get that Present. He was pretty much stuck between Ducky and Bilal at the same time. No chance of that working, but he's going to keep on trying. Also has a bit of invisibility at his disposal if he really wants it. Going to use it to march into the zone. Waste all the enemy ammo. It actually could not be more perfect. Pain is also ready to block these shots. Wonderful execution from STMN to get the advantage.
And it's a big part of it. It's on Tacos' execution there. I mean, a brilliant super there. Just managed to get into the back line, take down Ducky, the most important target. Once again, they're popping the gadget, but Ducky's got the hyper charge. That zero drag is making it hard for him to reach. Beautiful interaction there. But easily and pops the hypercharge for the boost speed. It's gonna be beginning the easy extraction now. Rafiki pops the hypercharge. Is he gonna be close enough? I don't think he can make it. That swats him down in time. Okay, this might be what it takes. Yohan Carlos might be able to pick this one up, but Ducky's sitting on the Present. Tacos resets it, gets back to the point. Okay, drops one more time, and there shouldn't be a way to stop this. STMN, what a nice transfer of presence there to bring it back to base.
Okay, the match point persists. Do we see this one go to a set 5? It would be the longest lived match that we've seen today in North America, and it's the final chance to have an extended interaction in the North American preseason icebreaker. We're going to see if STMN can keep that alley as aggressive as it was and get the team play where it was also. We saw BB and Ali making this sort of dream team. Ali, she survived just long enough to get that Present out of the base, and then BB was there to provide the barrier to fully extract it. Ducky walked right into the bubble. That looked a little messy. Tacos is going to get it. Now he's looking for 2. Rafiki gets away with that slap in the crit spot, and it's good. Vatic start off with an absolute bang. 30 seconds in, and they're 1 Present away from winning.
They just need one more to close this one out. Pain's got a hypercharge though, so does Rafiki. Gonna be trading it out. Rafiki gets batted away there. That's a big one there from Pain. And in the back, Tacos did get a kill onto Bilal, so Present should be with him. He's gonna be starting this extraction. Goes through the water, that mid side. It's a bit treacherous. That's why Pain's trying to clear the way for him. A dash there from Tacos, intentionally dropping the Present for a brief moment. Transfers it over to Pain. He's gonna be dropping next to Bilal, who's gonna be dropping this supply drop to push Yohan Carlos away. But then the alley gets back onto it. Great cycling, a relay there, fully complete from Stamina to bring this one to a 1-1.
It's all tied up. 1 Present to win it all. We should see a more balanced set of defense and offense from both teams now. It's Tacos right on top of Ducky. Pops the hypercharge, going to go to the enemy side. Has enough in the tank to get rid of Pain, but opts to stay just on the outer edge of that zone. Now, on Vadic's side, it's a successful defense for Bilal. Tacos will be sent back to the respawn. But STMN are going to keep this aggression going. It's only 45 seconds till overtime, and who has the advantage is a huge consideration here. I've got to say, Rafiki is going to have a bad time if it gets to OT and he doesn't have any walls to work with. He's already feeling the pressure now, gets that defense versus Tacos, and this is the moment that he has to make count. Hypercharge, super ready to move, decides to go for it, didn't have the gadget to do it, and completely whiffs the hut.
Just completely obliterated there by Pain, and that's going to give the advantage back to that. Taco's going to be going in there. The present does drop inside the water there. No team to be able to claim it. Pain's going to try to make a run for it to try and reset this present. He does get it, but it's going to fall. The present just inching closer and closer. 7 seconds left there. We are going to be heading to overtime. Bilal's going to have to sit on the present to make it respawn faster. Tacos goes in there just to try to reset the present. It's still in the middle. Bilal, you got to sit in the present to make it respawn faster. Otherwise, Pain's going to get back onto it. Does it get the reset? Yes, it does. 50 seconds there. 1-1 for both teams, and this match continues.
Just 40 seconds left in regulation. Rafiki's trying to fake out with that push in. Does at least have the shield. Ducky's looking dangerous. And an attempt at getting this. Everyone falls. Obliterated. STMN, not a single member remaining. Once Ali comes up, she can make her best shot at catching up with Vadic, but that present is already well on its way to the enemy zone. A little Wilg walk and a move in from Ducky. Maturino pin in the air, and a victor in the preseason Icebreaker North America. Vadic are on top.
GG's to Vadic for claiming the preseason icebreaker without their captain, I might add. And it's a bit poetic that Livy is trapped in ice going through a snowstorm and they win the preseason icebreaker. I don't know if that was completely, part of the prophecy, or if this is just, the
Oh, goodness. Looks like we had a little issue there. We're back online. We'll be back just in time for the replays, too, to watch these all finish up. Look at Tacos over here with that final deposit into the goal. STMN, man, they really did put on a great showing here.
Despite their best efforts, they will go down to the team that has their captain frozen in ice inside this preseason icebreaker. But it's been a great one. Rafiki, though, 15-11 on the scoreboard. That was a really, really good effort. Ducky, 19-6. He's been the standout player for me. I felt like this one, STMN, good concept there with the Ali and the BB, but in the end, it didn't really materialize. Fell to Vadic's superior, I would say, team play, and sort of a little bit of the, the tools that they had to work with the Stew and this Ruffs.
Gosh, STMN and Vadic put on just such a stellar series here, I have to say. Look at the stats also, like STMN trailing so far in the kills department. Vadic, of course, came out on top. Rafiki managed to survive in those final moments.
A lot of times we saw Tacos just throw himself at the enemy base, really. I mean, I think, honestly speaking, there was a lot of feeding that was going on with the Ali, and I think only by the middle of game number 2 did they, realize that, hey, we might need to actually bring down Rafiki first, maybe bring down a Brawl or 2 before we can go for these present plundering. Tacos was just diving in the back and just kind of feeding Ducky a lot of unnecessary hypercharge, unnecessary supers. And as a result, I mean, we didn't get to go to set 5. It's a 3-1 victory. It's going to be going to Vadic, but my goodness, look at the set scores, guys. This was the closest one yet.
gosh, dude. I can't believe we even went to a Game 4 on one of these. That was just completely insane. On Basket Brawl, the ball bouncing in the final seconds. I thought maybe it would be enough to end the set there, but no, not quite. Gosh, I'm, really, really entertained with the set of maps that we saw in this grand final as well. Not a single normal map in the rotation. And of course, we do want to know your guys' thoughts about all of this. But as with all things, they must come to an end. We've crowned a champion over here, and it's time to reflect on the end of the day, how it all went down for Vatic, our champions.
Starting off, we got two quick 3-0s. STMN unexpectedly brought down the Titans of North America to their heel, Tribe Gaming. Won without, winning a single set. And Vatic on the other side, they just completely tore down the old guard. KDS fell really, really quickly. And then what you just witnessed, right? When you have two of these supposed underdog teams clash against each other, it resulted in a 3-1 going in favor of Vatic -1. They don't even have as Livy, guys. They've got Ducky standing in for them, and they took it all. Congratulations for them. They're their preseason Icebreaker North America champions, and as Reddy has already said, the whole point of this tournament is to push these players to their limits in these modes, test their patience, test everything about this, and test you guys as well. I mean, we found some of these things really entertaining, but the question that's got to be on your mind is, if this were the World Finals, is it ready, right? Like, could you imagine these guys playing for $400,050 or something like that? In this mode? If you can't, tell us why. If in future these are added, tell us what has to change and all this kind of stuff. Construct this stuff, guys. Don't just say that the mode's, it sucks and it's bad and things like that. I mean, it's very easy to say the mode is bad. It's much, much harder to think about design and stuff like that. So really, I mean, we welcome all the ideas. I promise you, they're reading. I'm reading. People are reading. The folks at Superstar are definitely reading some of this stuff. And if it's a really good idea, they'll incorporate it. Maybe they won't credit you.
Okay, well, you've heard it here now, and you've even got more chances to catch the action. We have South America coming up right after this. It's going to start at 5 p.m. CST. That's an hour and a half from now. That sounds like enough time to get up, take a walk, get a snack, I don't know, eat dinner. You do whatever you want, but we hope to see you guys back here in an hour and 30 minutes for our final region. That does it for North America. You've been watching the Preseason Icebreaker, and we hope to see you guys back again very soon.